Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here to catch up on episode 7, 8, and 9 of Love is Blind Season 6. I have with me Mika to talk about it. What's going on, Mika?
Nada. I'm ready to talk about. I thought the last 3 episodes were eventful. These 3 episodes, some stuff happened.
Some stuff does happen. I have to say, if I'm looking at the people that have the least stuff happen, are probably Amy and Johnny.
Still, yes.
Yeah. And then obviously it's going to be Kenny and Brittany. And then everybody else has quite a bit to talk about, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's actually hard for me to tell because how I took the notes. I did try taking notes with per couple, but then I'm like, oh, then it changes days. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, okay, but then they have a group conversation. I'm like, oh, I'm like, it's still challenging to do this. So we're just going to try our best to make it as linear as possible. But I had to figure out a system to make it linear, but then also to make note taking easy. So we're just gonna try our best. I do know who we started with, and we started with Chelsea and Jimmy. Now they're the couple that we do see the most of in these 3 episodes, and I have to say I think I've seen enough of them.
I mean, it's funny because we'll discuss, but somebody said online that I saw that they not Jimmy being the best guy there, and I was like, how? And that not, and then I saw on Instagram not Kenny being the biggest villain of them all, and I was like,
he's not a villain.
No. And I'm just like, because I've had enough of Jimmy. I've had enough of Chelsea. They are the villains in everybody's story.
Okay, I don't think of Jimmy as the villain. I personally think I'm actually impressed by how much he is trying, because she's trying me and I can't take it. So I can't even imagine how he must be feeling to have to support this behavior. He called it clingy. I call it like
clingy
really
was nice. Clingy was nice. It was literally insecure. But the fact that we find out that he messaged Jessica the day they got out and got their phone back.
Well, he didn't message her. He added her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like there's no message exchange from one of the conversation that they had. Now, I just do appreciate the fact that he is appeasing her to a certain degree, because if it were me, I'd be like, this is too much. I didn't sign up to have somebody that I need to be saying I love you every second of the day. Like it's just too much for me. And so I appreciate that he hasn't gotten the ick from that, because I've gotten the ick personally.
Right. Well, I mean, Jimmy does not seem to be the type of man to cut and run. We saw with Jessica. We knew he was never choosing Jessica after the conversation he had about her daughter, and he still didn't cut and run, and he's still not cutting and run here. And I mean, we can give him a little bit of applause for that, but I also don't feel like it's rooted in any kind of honesty, and to me it feels a little like you ain't got no balls, but that's just me.
Now, I can't remember where I saw this now. I just took a picture of all of their horoscope, like all of their signs. So Jessica,
I know I shared it earlier from Bachelor Horoscope.
Probably Bachelor Horoscope.
Yeah.
So Jessica is a Capricorn and Jimmy is a Scorpio. And these two signs actually really work well together. Capricorn is an earth sign, Jimmy is a Scorpio, and that's a water sign. Water and earth are a really, really, really good match. And so I think that when she talks about them having this electricity and this spark and this like connection, I think it's their compatibility elementally. Now, Chelsea, unfortunate for her in this particular dynamic, is a Libra, and Libras tend to be, they're ruled by Venus. They love balance. They don't love conflict. They don't love arguments. They also love love. And in its, negative ways, they can be craving love and they need a lot of, they can be very needy if you're going to see like the negative extremes.
Okay.
So I feel as though because she's an air sign and she's going to want to settle these things out and talk it through, and he's probably going to handle things a little bit more introvertedly and a little bit more moodily. I just feel as the way that they deal with conflict and the way that they deal with love within a relationship is not matching, and he will feel like he gets along better with Jessica because they are more compatible elementally.
Fair. Fair. I'm an earth sign. I do like me a water sign. I tend to be fair, I don't think I've ever met an actual Cancer, because Cancer is supposed to be
Cancer and Taurus are a really good match.
Right. And everybody says, oh, they're such a good. I have never met a male Cancer that it like in my age group or, dateable, I would say. For that to happen.
For Kyland?
I don't know about Kylan. He's a little young for me. I love you, Kylan, but no.
I just think he's the first Cancer male that I know.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like he's also still like not. He's about 10 years younger than me, so it's like still like not in my age group. I do know somebody in his early 30s as well who's a Cancer, and he's like planning dates for like his just started out girlfriend, and like not even girlfriend, like he's just starting out to date her, and it's like, I need someone like you, but like aged up a little.
Absolutely. And like kiss, like Taurus and Cancer having a little smooch, that's going to be magical. So we're on the hunt for finding Mika a nice Cancer man.
If there are any Cancer men that
are 40 plus,
I'll take 35 as long as you have your own children. If you're bringing your own I'll go as
children
are okay with not having any. I will take 35 plus. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we should really start something. Well, yeah, we shall. But we come back. So, did you want to talk about the conversation that we didn't finish yesterday?
Yes.
Wait until we talk about that couple.
Because we did go over Chelsea and Jimmy's argument, but there was when we get to Brittany and Kenny, there was a conversation that Kenny had with AD.
Right.
That
I did reference it in this this set of episodes, so we might have talked about that then.
Yes, absolutely would love to.
So Chelsea and Jimmy, we come back to them. It's kind of like the aftermath of the whole beach date that they all had. This was episode 7 here, and he's like, "Are you mad at me?" And she that she's mad at her because she kind of sends daggers of like desperation, but like also like he's walking on like thin ice. Like he has to say the right words or she's gonna get him. I'm scared for him because he's like, are you mad at me? And like, yeah, she's mad at you. But like, you better know why she's mad and say the exact right things, or she's going to be even more mad at you.
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't want her to make her feel sad or hurt, and he's just like, she's like, well, you made me feel sad and hurt, and you don't acknowledge what I'm feeling. You don't know, and I'm like, I do think he acknowledges your feelings.
I feel he does personally. I do feel like he acknowledges them. I do feel it I feel like he acknowledges them. And she is like, you didn't acknowledge it. And then when he says that she didn't, he then reiterates his acknowledgement. And she then, it's still like, well, like harping on the fact that she didn't feel that, even though she does agree he did that. But and I was just like, girl.
Yeah. So later on, like I'm gonna do this couple a little bit more for this particular episode. So Jimmy talks about how he had an incredible time this week, and they talk about their least favorite part and their favorite part, and he talks about the taquitos that they had on the beach, and that he bit his lip. And so he said he bit his lip, so he doesn't know if he will be able to kiss that much. And I was like, oh, making excuses not to kiss someone. Like, if you bit your lip and you wanted to kiss a girl, you would not care about your lip being a little bit tender. So I felt that he was building in a little bit of an excuse to not being completely intimate and super kissy with her, because she is a little bit, in my opinion, overbearing and a little bit much in terms of how much validating she needs physically, sexually, verbally. She just needs a lot, and that to me stems from her not doing a lot of work on herself. She needs to be speaking to someone, because I feel like she is not really being fully fair to Jimmy, because Jimmy needs to do everything to make her feel like she's a worthy person, and she kind of has to do that for herself.
Yeah, and that's why I said, we were talking about it yesterday. Do we think that she wouldn't feel this way? I think she might feel less this way if she had chosen Trevor. Although I don't know, we're gonna talk about some of the tea we found out about Trevor.
I haven't heard of this yet.
Oh God! But I think she would have felt less so. But I think she just has not done the work in herself in order to feel totally secure with any guy, but especially Jimmy.
Especially because she chose Jimmy so that he could not choose Jessica. Like, she definitely was having some battle with like Jessica, and he had no idea what Jessica looked like. And so the fact that
the way she went with her friends, like that conversation with her friend, he had somebody else and I had somebody else, and that person just wanted me. And I was like, oh yeah, this was a whole ass competition for you, girl.
Yeah, for her, for sure. And so they talk about her. He said like the least favorite part was that, and she's like, well, not arguing. Like, she's always trying to find a fight. Like,
but you're now starting the argument.
Yeah, you're starting an argument. It's like, well, that wasn't his least favorite part. He keeps on saying like, we have arguments, and then we learn from each other, and we've been growing and moving forward. I think these have been good for us. And he's been so positive and supportive, even though I don't think that he should be. No. I wouldn't be. I'd be like, girl, get some self-esteem and call me back.
Yeah, because, he has every right to exit stage left at this point.
100%. He can't be the person that fills her up.
No. No, and that is definitely something I learned. Not to say that I was ever insecure, but I felt like I dulled everything I wanted in life
to suit someone else.
To suit someone else. And so much so that when they didn't meet my needs, it made me like upset.
Yeah, well, you're gonna feel like, well, I'm doing so much for you, and it's like, well, you never asked you to.
Right. And so now I know that I will never do that again. Not to say that I will not care for somebody or give my all to somebody. What I will not do is dull my wants, dull my being for other people in order for us to have a relationship. So I love to travel. I'm never giving that up again. I love to go to Disney. I'm never giving up it. And I had to before. I used to wear makeup before I got married. I stopped doing that in my marriage. I'm back to wearing makeup when I feel like it. Like, there's certain things that I gave up in order to be in a relationship, just because either it was inconvenient for them or me or whatever, so if you don't do that work within yourself to be secure with, I like this, if he's not going to come, I said this, hopefully I find a partner who likes to travel, but if the next person I'm with does not like to travel, my ass is going by myself. I have a travel club now. I will see you when I get back from my trip, especially if you don't got no passport. Bye.
I mean, I'm a flight attendant. I fly every
Yeah,
day.
right.
Like, to not have a passport to me is
Yeah.
wild. I've had a passport since I was a baby, right? I know that
Same.
it's I've been financially like blessed in that way to be able to afford to travel, but it is a priority for me. And so hopefully, like, I mean, I can't imagine being with someone that it's not a priority for them. So I
Yeah,
totally understand that want, need, and desire for sure. Like, I
yeah,
love traveling.
yeah.
I'm actually thinking right now because my friend that lives in Playa, she's
Mhm.
just messaging me. She's like, "I'm gonna be away for 5 days. Do you want to stay at my place and take care of my cat?" And I'm like,
Sure.
I might go to Mexico for well, I can only go for 3 days, but I might go to Mexico for 3 days to
Okay.
like help
Shoot.
her out.
Hell
I'm like,
yeah.
let's go. Hi, Rachel. Yep. Oh my gosh, so much happened in these episode. So much happened. Hi, Danita. Yes, this
Yeah.
task is something else. Delivering. Now,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that you were worried that they put the season 6 and season 7 together. I think that they did that because they want you to be like, oh my god, if this season is good, the next season's also going to be good. So either that season is bad or good. But like, I
Mhm,
think that they're so hyped on this season that they
mhm.
wanted you to know that there's another one to come right away. So I think it was
Right.
just to build the hype for the other season.
That and there's a potential that there are no couples this season, and the real love story is in next season.
That's true
I
too.
'Cause
I
I'm
also
gonna I'm gonna be fair. I am enjoying this season, even though I don't have hope for, like, none
whatever
in
happens,
percent.
it's entertaining.
Exactly. But
I wouldn't be surprised also, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like I heard that I don't know if it's a new producer or something like that, but they felt like this grouping of episodes was kind of going back to their old formula, or like
Mhm,
the what we really enjoyed about a season 1, I think, is
mhm,
what they feel like season 6 and season 7 have to offer. And so that's might also be why they're clumping it together, because
mhm,
it's very couples focused. Regardless of if they end up together, these
mhm.
couples are working on something. You know what I mean? And it's just
Yes.
not just breaking up and leaving. Even though
And
we
not
do
and not necessarily salacious, right? Like the story.
salacious
I mean,
on behalf of the producers, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like salacious on behalf of the people, but not like what they did last year, which, in my opinion, if you found out two people knew each other, I don't care what they say, you should have kicked them out.
Well, I heard though also that there was a married or a couple that was engaged in the real world
Hmm.
that tried to get on the show so they can have
Hmm.
them pay for their wedding.
Hmm.
And they did catch that
Yeah,
and then remove that couple.
yeah.
So
Which is what I'm saying. It's like if you're starting to see that, you as a producer can't be like, "Oh my god, this is such a great storyline." It's literally like you've got to, nah, because in my opinion, I'm sorry. To me, it tainted their one love story that they have. I don't like that couple. I don't like the woman that was in there. I
mhm.
think she's calculated, and something is not there all there with her. And the husband that she chose, I don't like how he treated the person that was involved in her other love story that had nothing to do with him. And
Mhm.
so I don't like either one of them. I pay no attention to them. I didn't like that they were trying to hook them up with the season 4 couple that I actually like, to try to do promotion. Oh, look, they're a love story and they're a love story, and there's a black man in each one of them. And no, sorry. I don't care. I don't do that. No. So, but I know there's there were people who were like, oh, they love each other. It was just a TV show. It's like, yeah, well, I didn't like them, and I don't want to see.
I don't believe her, but she also has a little bit of this kind of clingy personality too.
Yeah,
So her favorite part was him being sweet with her this morning. And I was like, I would not want to be in a relationship with her. Poor guy.
no, I just something about it's so she's so unrootable.
I know. I try. I try.
Right? I try to find a reasoning, and I don't.
My reasoning is like, well, she's a flight attendant, so there's that. And then my friend that I work with, he's like, we don't claim her. We don't claim her because we don't claim her. What's wrong?
Oh, I just found more tea. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, we'll see you for the that
It's
same
like
couple.
it's like happening as we go.
Like from that at the same couple or somebody else.
This one's about Kenny. Every 2 seconds, I keep finding one
Okay,
about a different guy.
so he talks about, he's like, don't worry, I have no concerns about heading into the real world, and they have no concerns at all. And I feel like he's almost dulling his light, because like I feel like he has just like a haze behind his eyes when he like talks to her. Like I feel that's probably what she's missing. He's going through the motions, he's saying all the words, but she's not feeling the truth of how he feels, and that's what she's picking up on.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but he is saying the things that you've asked him to say. He is acknowledging what you've asked him to acknowledge. So the fact that she keeps on harping on him is just frustrating as an audience person, and obviously for him as well, because it's just never getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to be fair to her, I don't think he's being honest, which is what she's semi feeling. But either you have to give him a wide berth and maybe he'll get there, or you just like I'm not feeling this with you. You're based on what I'm feeling, not feeling this with me. Let's end it. But I don't think that's why she's there. She's there for TV. Personally, I think she's okay with the drama. I think she probably thought that this was playing very well, but she is coming off insecure and needy rather than a boss bitch confronting the guy who she knows it really probably doesn't like her and is being deceptive to her.
Mm-hmm. So within this episode, we go over to Kenny and Brittany, and they pretty much start their conversation they're having off with race and how he thinks that their kids are going to perceive race, and what does she know about race, and how does she think that she will deal with having children that will be Black. And so she was referring basically to a conversation that Kenny had with AD about the fact that she is going to be a mom to Black children. Right. And for him, it actually is, it concerns him because he never actually really thought about that. And, thought about her raising Black children. And so it's very hard if she hasn't done it yet, and she hasn't. It seems as though she's dated like interracial.
So unlike him, she's actually dated interracially. She prefers Black men, it seems. So, and he said he hasn't dated white women before.
So for her, she seems to be like, I've dated Black men. I understand to a certain degree what I will need to show them, share with them, and help them through. And she wants to know what would make him feel good about the situation and her being the mother to his children. And he actually didn't have an answer for her. And I think that this is the beginning of the end of their relationship, was this, because it's something that he never thought about. And I don't think, is scared to do a little trial and error with somebody with his children. I think that he's scared about that.
So the conversation was with AD and Clay that, they really kind of introduced Kenny to AD, and I felt like approached it really kindly, right? And so I do think it gave him food for thought, because it wasn't like against Brittany, right? Because she's like, no, she's amazing. Like, you're lucky to have her. But did you think about this? Are you sure about that part? Especially since you've never dated a white woman. Is she ready? And are you ready for what that means? And I do think because of the way that AD approached the conversation, it did give him food for thought and concern, rather than, in another situation, it would have put up a wall and been like, oh, how dare she say this? And you know what I mean? Like, it's none of her business, blah, blah, blah. But because AD led in kindness and lovingly had this conversation.
I think it's
and
an important thing to think about.
and it was one-on-one, more not necessarily against Brittany, but more for in favor of Kenny. I think that's how come it became a concern.
Well, Nick, if you think about it, when we were talking about The Bachelorette, Miss Charity
Mm-hmm.
Lawson, and her
Yes.
asking that question to Joey,
Yes.
he didn't really have a good answer, in my
He did
opinion,
not.
for it.
I
And
still to this day stand by. I don't feel like his answer was appropriate, but some people don't care.
and that was something that I think that she felt quite strongly about.
Yeah.
And she might not have shared that she did, but that it would be scary to not know how your partner is going to deal with the racism that their children are going to inherently have
Yeah.
to endure for their entire life.
Yeah.
It's just a fact that he's never had to think about. She has probably thought about it for the fact that she's dated other potentially Black men,
Right.
but it's not to the same degree as like a Black mother would be able to come at it and have actual feelings around it and experiential knowledge about it, and will know what her mom has taught her and what she can teach them. I remember during Black Lives Matter,
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing this TikTok and it made me cry my eyes out. And it was just this, like a face of this really cute, dark skinned Black boy that was about 15 years old. And it just had just like listing all the things that his mom taught him. And I was just like, and it's things like, make sure you always say yes ma'am if a police officer is talking to you, like yes, make sure that you know what I mean, like it's like simple rules, like don't wear a do-rag if you're driving in a certain area, stuff like that. If you're driving a nice car, like anything that could potentially put them in harm's way just for the color of their skin. And I was just like, I cried so much to know that this is something that they need to be taught as a child. When is this woman, whether it's Brittany or somebody else, going to be able to teach that? Because they wouldn't even know that that's something that they need to learn.
Right. I mean, and I've said this very openly. These are conversations I've had to have with my children, all three of them, but especially my boys. And as young as 6 or 7, and don't let your child have some sort of neurological divergence that it's harder for them to even contemplate why people would treat them that way or act that way, or why is it even fair that they get to do that to them, that they can't move past that point, that you then have to explain to them you can't even worry about that, you have to just do this. And it just has to be procedure. And my oldest son, he can get his license in a couple of months, and I worry because driving and you make a mistake, and if you don't follow procedures, right, and
it's like license for them to potentially do harm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty scary. So Rachel here says that she's surprised that we didn't see Kenneth discuss his concerns about this while he was in the pods. You would think that he would have discussed it with other Black men in the pods.
I don't think he thought about it.
He's 25, he's 26.
Yes.
Young.
I really don't think he thought about it until AD said it to him in that way. Because even when she said it to him, he was like, no, I think she's good. But I think once he kept thinking about it, is she good? How do I even confront that? And then I really do think, adding on top of that, the fact that they could not be physical for him, I think was also an added issue, but we'll discuss that once we get to that conversation. But I do feel like it was just like the start of him questioning, how would this work with something he's never been involved in? And it's not like he gets to date her. He has to marry her, regardless, and then figure out if she's ready. So he has to be the trial and error, and I don't know if he wanted to be.
So Danita says here, and this is why makes kids raised by white moms see the world and behave differently than those raised by a black mom.
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
yeah, absolutely.
We can have many discussions on that for sure. There's a stark difference as to how they behave.
Yeah.
Um, Rachel says parents of black children have to start young. I'm glad Netflix included this in this topic.
I loved it. That was why I wanted to make sure we did touch on it, because I've loved almost every conversation they've had where it was geared towards the black people on this show. I think they were all treated well and handled well, and I'm so glad that on a national platform we have gotten to have these perfectly acceptable conversations, in my opinion.
And I think though also, there's a lot of times where people are like, why aren't they dating? And like, like they want these mixed interracial couples.
Yeah.
And yes, the interracial couples, like relationships tend to have really beautiful children. Like all children are beautiful, yes, but like, like they want these for all these different reasons, and they want Taylor to be with Joseph, and they want Charity to be with Jimmy, and I'm just thinking,
the tale of last year, the Taylor and the Joseph and the Charity and the Joey of it all was like, oh, even Rachel, Lindsay, and Peter. Remember that one? Oh my God.
Yes.
It's,
and so everybody's really wanting these interrelational relationships because they think they look so good together, and like they just love this.
Gorgeous together. I'm sorry. I listen. Taylor and Joseph 8. Sorry.
Right. No, it's fine. They can look good together. But if you're thinking actually long term and about maybe these are conversations that they did have, and that maybe Taylor didn't feel like he was the right person to maybe start a life with down the road. Like, who knows? But it's interesting that a lot of people are pushing some of these interracial relationships without actually thinking about
the individuals involved.
Exactly.
And it's the thing is, the individuals involved are reality TV shows, so a lot of times they are very much vocal about what they want in life, and then people are shocked that it doesn't align with the other person. It's like, but they stated that. Like, there's things that they talked about in the Big Brother house. Like, Taylor said she was never moving to Florida because she wanted to be in entertainment news. Where's entertainment news? California. New York or California? She's moved to California. She could not move to Joseph in Florida. Sorry, people are shocked. They looked great together. They are still friends. I love that. You know that I love that, and I love them both. But some things aren't meant to be if they're not going to work. Not just because they look pretty together. There's so many people who look pretty together, guys. So many people.
This might not work.
Yeah.
So the next conversation that they have, they're on the boat, and he was not talking to her at all. It was really drew out that long awkward silence that they were having, and she was just kind of looking out into the water, and they're just not saying anything.
That was the most. I have never seen a more awkward relationship on TV.
Yeah, that moment.
In what was it? Good 5 to 10 minutes.
I was like, oh my God, please somebody say something. Like, because it looked like she was looking straight ahead to not look at him. Yeah. And then I'm just like, well, you want to say something, so just say something to him instead of pretending like you're not going to say something to him and that you were like, everything's pretty normal. Yeah. Like, it was so bad. It looked like both of them didn't want to be there. Well, it looked like she wanted to talk, but like she didn't want to ask him what's wrong.
Yeah.
And it broke the ice when they started talking about dolphins or whatever. And then it went into physical touch. She wants him to be a little bit more expressive physically with her. And he's like, oh, I thought I touched you enough. But she's like, you can touch me more. And I think this has to do also maybe with the fact that he's never been with a white woman. So he just doesn't have the natural vibe with her. He's just not sure how that's going to work personally, I guess. But the cracks in their relationship were really, really apparent here for sure. It was so awkward. And I think a lot of it, he was thinking that he doesn't know if he can marry this woman. I think he started the thoughts about her being the mother of his children, about him not sure if he's attracted to her. Like, I think all those were running through his head.
Yeah, I agree. It was so stark between the first like back half of the show, and then seeing this period, and I was like, what just happened? What triggered this? And you could just see he was so lost in his thought, and that the only thing that could bring him out of the thought was not having a conversation about them, was having a conversation about dolphins, which he says he's obsessed with and he loves. But he's like, oh, we should have done that. And I'm wondering if they had done like an actual activity rather than just laying on a boat, if it would have been a better situation.
Well, he was saying like, "Oh, we should have done that. We should have done that." And so maybe she decided to go on this boat thing, and he disagreed, and he wanted to do the dolphin thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what are their signs again? Let's take a look at that just so we can have an idea of how they're interacting. So Kenny is a Virgo, and
Yeah, I think she's a Virgo too, right?
both Virgos. So innately, they should get along. But
And that's the thing. I don't think they don't get along. They seem to get along. I just don't know if they have the same. Remember, really, they were coming into this on a values combination, not on a physical combination. So it's like, I don't care how you look. I don't care like what physical, is involved. But then the physical started to get involved, and then also he's never dated a white woman. I don't think it was a looks thing because she's pretty. So I don't think
love is not blind in the real world.
Right. It just doesn't always add up.
Everyone else is blind to your relationship, and like there's no racism and all that stuff, then this would probably work out really easily. But because racial dynamics are actually very relevant and prevalent in our society right now, it's hard to overlook that. And it probably brought a lot of thoughts to his head.
Yeah.
And so who did we talk about before them? We talked about
Chelsea and Jimmy.
Right. Okay. We got their signs. So next we move over to Clay and AD, and she's driving. I guess they're on some sort of excursion of some sort.
Yeah. Like they're driving. It didn't look like a dune buggy, but it looked like
Jeep. Like maybe the Jeep safari tour, and they had to go to like the safari part. Like I don't know. But he loves red light kisses. How do you feel about red light kisses?
Never experienced them.
And what I mean, anybody can drive. I personally love it when my man drives. Do you think he doesn't have his license? Like, why was she driving?
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
I was just curious. Usually, I like the man driving. It's just like a chivalrous thing. I know anybody can drive, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never I dated a guy who didn't have his license, so I drove. And even when I was married, and my ex-husband didn't drive everywhere, so I don't know.
I guess like also like my dad always does the driving. Like my stepmom, like she has their own car.
Oh yeah, no. When with my mother didn't get her license until she was like 40, till like my age, and then she like my dad drove everywhere, and then even still after that, she like if everybody was in the car, he drove.
Yeah.
So
this is also kind of what I'm used to as well, as like the dad drives. But I know that's like it could be considered sexist or whatever. I like the guy driving. It just like I feel like I'm being taken care of. Come open my door. Like I dated this guy where he would get mad at me if he didn't open and close the door for me. You know what I mean? Like he would be like, I'm going to open the door for you. I'm going to close it for you. And I'm going to drive you. He also wouldn't let me walk on the outside of the sidewalk. Like he definitely really liked those male-female roles, and I enjoyed them. It feels good to be taken care of like that. I like that anyways.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel, but
you don't know how you'd feel?
No. Not about that stuff. Not even about the driving. I don't know.
I love being picked up. I love being like, hey, babe, let me open the door for you. Sit on in.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
And the test though, and I think it might have been in Boomerang or like like one of those love shows. He when he first picked me up, the test was if I leaned over to open his car door for him. So I did. But like apparently that's
a big deal. So to be fair, and because some people have said that too, like, oh, I would never date a guy who doesn't drive. But I live in the metro tri-state area. There are a lot of people who do not drive in New York, even in New Jersey, certain places, because all they do is just like hop on the train, hop on the bus, and go to work, right? And go about their business. So, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I could make it a standard that it has to, but some people are that's how they feel too. So I've seen it both ways.
Before we continue on with AD and Clay, Danita's here saying, I also get the vibe that Ken's family doesn't date outside their race much. And that was in his head too. He seemed more worried about bringing her home than she did about bringing him home.
Yeah. I mean, because we never got a family friend, nothing. He made sure we did not get to the
Yeah, no. That wasn't part of his plan.
No.
I think that he thought that he was going to be okay with whomever she was, but then when realizing like, wait, this is the real world now. We're not in the pods anymore. I don't know if it's actually going to work. And he doesn't know if he's willing to fight for her right now. He doesn't know her well enough. He doesn't love her that much. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like to be the trial and error of something it's a lot. It's a big undertaking. And if you're like, they're really getting married without knowing if you're really fully in love with this person, meaning like timing. So yeah, I could see that.
So AD, we learned that she danced for the Patriots for 2 Super Bowls. I'm like, that's pretty cool, pretty badass. She talks about how she can't wait to call her family, her mom and her sisters. I hear that Clay's dad is Guyanese.
Yeah.
And we hear a lot that he's really, really happy, and he does seem pretty happy. And he just wants to just kind of relax and look out into the ocean. Yeah. And then he stacks and clears the plates that they were eating. And it seems like she was looking and had an opinion or a thought about it. They had ominous music playing. What was that moment?
So it felt like, and there could have been more to it. It felt like she literally was watching him check out a bit, because he did not ask her if she was done. Do you want this? He just took her plate and started throwing garbage on it. Or like even the tostones, like they were left over. He didn't ask her, hey, do you want these? Or should I throw them? Like he literally was gone mentally. And that, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, that point where you're really happy about something and then you start thinking about all the things that could go wrong. I literally think that's what happened with him. I literally think he felt like, oh my God, this is paradise. I love her. Like, I love what's happening here. And then he started thinking, but what if it goes wrong? What if I mess up? What if I fuck this up? What if I do this wrong? What if this is wrong?
Because then he started saying that he doesn't want to let her down. And and I think he doesn't want to let her down is like, he doesn't know if he's going to say yes at the altar, is what I heard when he said that.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, all of a sudden the doubt started creeping in that, but can I marry her? I love this. I love her. But can I marry her? Am I ready to marry her? Is this the right person I should be marrying? And I feel like fair, but I do. And I think that's why she didn't comment, because I feel like she felt like if I comment, I think I might make whatever's going on in his head worse. Yeah. And she tried to like just put a curtain up, like, I'm just going to sit here and wait for him to come out of it and see if he comes out of it. And then he didn't really seem to come out of it. And she's like, you okay? Is everything? Because I think I lost you somewhere. And that's when he started like, oh, no, I just don't know. And then it was just like he started spewing.
Spew, spew, spew. So his sign, he's also a Virgo and she's a Scorpio. Another pretty good combination. That's another earth and water combo.
Yeah.
This could work. This could
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Um,
If he's ready, I like them together. I really do.
I don't know if
I
he's
just,
ready though.
but I don't think he's ready. And I think that's what it just
I
comes
don't know if he'll
down
ever be
to.
ready because he does have, in my opinion, a little bit of a juvenile mindset in terms of relationships and
Mhm,
what's required of him and what his
mhm,
expectations are and where
mhm,
you compromise and how you meet. Like he doesn't really have a mature approach to relationships, it seems. And
mhm,
so I don't know if he will get there with her or
mhm.
really with anyone. I don't know if
He
he
needs therapy. I'm gonna say that. Can we check Rachel's comment right here? I'm gonna tell you why I think he needs therapy.
So
Um,
Rachel says the lunch was so weird, and Clay keeps bringing up infidelity like it's genetic.
because it is to him genetic. Because his father sat there and took him while he was cheating and broke up his marriage to his mother. And he says he kept it and didn't say anything. And I'm sure he has some guilt tied to that, that he was dishonest to his mother while his father was cheating on her. And he probably has maybe done something similar, or he probably feels like he'll probably do it because his parents' marriage didn't work. And I don't think he knows any other married people where their marriage has worked. So I do feel like that's probably how he's feeling. Like he probably has it in him to cheat and he doesn't know how not to make that happen. He needs therapy. His
Yeah.
father fucked him up. I'm sorry. That's my
He
opinion.
did. He did. He did. He did. Okay, we'll be back with that couple shortly. We go over to Laura and Jeremy. We learned that Jeremy had slept on the couch after the whole beach fiasco and bean dip fiasco, and she basically says in the future, just don't tell others what we're talking about. Like, don't bring it up to the group. It's it makes me not want to talk to you or share little things with you. Now, I don't think it was a great comment for her to say to him,
Mhm.
but it's their private time, and like, you know what I mean, like whatever, like we shouldn't know what they're saying behind closed doors, basically. And so I understand where she's coming from, but I wish that she just hadn't said it at all.
Right. So on one hand, I agree. Don't take our conversations on the outside, but on another thing, don't talk about who supposedly is your friend like she's a freaking piece of meat.
Well, not bean dip, bean and a chip. Like that are tits and chip. No, that are chips and bean dip. Like that's really inappropriate.
It's
Like
inappropriate. I don't care how funny. Not like it's one thing if you kept the joke between you and AD, but it's another thing because that's what AD said that she has done it to her when she smacked her tits before.
AD just done it to Laura, or Laura's done it to AD.
Laura's done it to her. Like Laura had come into the room one time and smacked her upside the tit, and so that's what happened.
Also, kind of strange.
It is. But
I've
like,
never heard of this
but
before.
I'm also the type of person like I understand that girl dynamics range. Like we're not all a monolith, right? Because there's some girl conversation where everything is bitch. You know what he did, and bitch this and bitch, and I would never do that. So it's like,
I mean, like
I
I
get
can
it.
understand, like I might slap someone's butt, like a friend of mine or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
This would be considered inappropriate, and so
Right,
I guess I'll accept the bean dip.
right. So that's what I'm saying. It was a whatever dynamic her and AD came up with. It was between them, but then she took it to her man. So she made it inappropriate
Yeah.
because there's no way he should have been involved in that whatsoever. Whatsoever.
No, not at all. But he does apologize. And he's like, so do you like me still? And he says that he thinks that they are the number one couple. I'm like, really? You think you're the number one couple in the group? Really? Like, okay.
You know what's crazy? The number one couple is either Amy and Johnny because we ain't seen shit that's wrong with them. or Clay and AD, because they seem to have the full package, other than he probably isn't ready. But I don't think any of these people are ready. So there's that.
Danita says bean dipping was supposed to stay in the pods because Clay knew nothing
Exactly.
about it because AD didn't say anything. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm saying it. In my mind, after having seeing this, you can't just sit there and say he shouldn't have took it out your relationship. You shouldn't even took it into your relationship because it was something between you and your girl.
Yeah. And like it's talking about her body and like things to do to her body. Like you like really, oh, go over there and slap her across the face. She's gonna find it so funny. Like,
Yeah.
like you wouldn't do that. It's just stupid. So
Oh.
yeah. I don't know. I don't trust her that much, but well, we'll probably get more
We'll
into
get
that.
there. Yeah.
Okay, before we get back to all these couples going to North Carolina, we do see Amy and Johnny. Woo! They're horseback riding, and she's starting to feel like the physical spark is growing. She's another person that's first time dating outside of her culture, we'll say. And they're looking at each other and staring each other's eyes, and she loves his eyes, and he loves her hair. And I was like, okay. I mean, you guys did connect already emotionally, so allow you to take each other in physically. Okay,
Physically, yeah.
fine. And she's nervous though because she feels like things are going so well between the two of them, and she's nervous here. It's perfect, but that makes her nervous. Do you think that's foreshadowing to something to come? Because so far, it doesn't seem like their relationship's going to plummet. It seems like it's going to be fine, and they're going to make it to the altar.
But think of where we were with Kenny and Brittany last episode, where I would not have thought that we would have come into this next set of episode with them gone. Like, and I think with the Amy and Johnny were shown the least out of all the couples in the first 6 episodes. And then Kenny and Brittany, I think, were shown the second least, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't even know. Could be either one at this point.
It could be. That's true. It's true. So we'll just jump over to now. All the couples are going back to North Carolina, and they're going to be moving into one of the other's homes. I don't know where I wrote it down, but we do get a moment from the Lachey's about talking about all the couples moving in to see whether or not this is going to work, meeting friends and families, la-di-da-di-da, giving them a reason to have them as executive producers and hosts. And I don't remember which couple was first, so we'll just start with Amy and Johnny. And they're talking about what are each other's pet peeves so far. He says, guess what? Chicken butt. So she's like, maybe pet peeve is that. Slash, though, my brother used to say that to me all the time when he was a child, and it freaking is annoying. So guess what? Chicken butt's annoying. She does say, though, that she's nervous about him meeting her dad. So maybe this is where things might shake up.
Well, we know that Amy is Hispanic, and we know that she was for a very long time the only child. I think she's the only girl. And she's also her brother's neurodivergent. And so I'm pretty sure she's probably like a prized possession in her family, based on culture and all of that. And she said she's very successful and all that stuff. So yeah, she probably should be, because probably he's not going to want to let his little girl go to somebody he barely knows.
Probably not.
And a white guy at that. You just never know.
Well, it's probably it's similar to Kenny's concerns, and maybe his family concerns as well. It's like, we're having a gringo come in here and come into our family. Like, what is he going to say about our cultures? Are we going to feel comfortable with him being around us all the time? Like, there's a lot of things that go into bringing other cultures into families, especially ones that are really tight knit, and who knows what biases or what experiences they've had of other cultures coming in. So it could end up being a problem. It very much could, because most of our parents are not as, we'll say, woke as we are, and so they could take issue.
Absolutely,
might be a problem.
Yeah.
We did already talk about Jimmy, talk about his incredible week with Chelsea, so we don't need to talk about them anymore when they first are moving back in. Actually, I think we start that in episode 8 for them. Any other people moving in? So we do see AD and Clay moving back to North Carolina, and they're practicing cuddling on the couch. She mentions that she's talked to everyone, and then she
did we talk about not Johnny, Jeremy talking to Amy about Jessica, Sarah Ann
That's not
on
yet.
the beach? That's not it. Okay.
Oh, wait, on the beach?
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. What did you say again?
Okay, so when they were all talking, like they met up again on the beach.
I wrote beach day, but beach day was later, I think. Oh, maybe not. Well, but we'll go to beach day now. So Chelsea and AD and Laura are all hanging out. So yeah, this is before they go back to North Carolina, correct?
Yeah. That's because I just want to mention, what did you think of Amy? Like, just stopping the conversation when he brings up that he wants to be friends with Sarah and
I didn't write that down actually. I wrote down Amy is scared of her dad meeting Johnny. That's all I wrote down.
Okay. So they do sit like on near the beach, and he was talking about the reasons why he chose Laura over Sarah Ann. And he said, I want to sit down with her and have a conversation about why I made this choice. And, and I didn't not, like her. I think we could be friends out of this. And so I do want to like have a conversation with her. And Amy is like, yeah, I'm going to zip it. And her face don't look like, boy, you better not let Laura find out that's what you're trying to do.
No, I have to say though, Laura's work has been working on him because he's had a glow up. Like him and his baseball cap, like he's borderline cute now. Yeah. I'm kind of like, okay, like you look a lot better. I mean,
even with the Hawaii shirt, like, yeah.
I'm actually thinking it might have happened when he got to North Carolina because that's when he was wearing that gray cap.
No, he was wearing the cap on the beach. He looks good. Yeah, I agree with you. I do feel like she's like getting him together. I feel like she needs to do it a little slower and not say it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that you can't force the wheel to go.
Says, yeah, Amy wanted nothing to do with that conversation, and Jeremy brought up Sarah so unprovoked. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how I was feeling. I remember thinking then, like, yeah, Amy doesn't want to be here. She doesn't want to indulge in this. She doesn't want to have to tell Amy or Laura about it, or not tell Laura about
she will tell her. That's why she was like, yeah, I'm not going to allow you to allow me to continue this conversation so that I have to have this conversation with her. So no.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
So Chelsea, AD, and Laura do have a conversation, and so it seems as though Chelsea and AD have both had sex.
Yes.
It seems Laura has not. It seems correct.
No. I thought. I think it was all three.
It seems though like AD was enjoying herself.
Yes.
Chelsea, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about Chelsea, but Laura seemed to enjoyed herself. She seemed happy too. So, yeah.
Jimmy apologizes to AD. Just about the fact that she, made the stacked comment and like potentially was making Chelsea feel a little bit uncomfortable. Blah blah blah. Like he kind of took some ownership over that conversation. I think though, what the issue is that Jimmy just enjoys everybody else but Chelsea because she is so stressful to him.
I will say he seems to light up around AD. It's kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
He's smiling. He's relaxed.
I'm just kind of wondering if it had been AD that he chose. I think he might have been happy.
He might have been happy. Now I'm wondering if it's that whole trope where you can be fully with the Black woman, but you would never bring her home. You know what I mean? I wonder if it's that whole thing. So he feels completely comfortable. He can completely be himself with her because she's not threatening to him, because he would never actually be in a relationship with her or marry her. Maybe. But he definitely enjoys being around her, and it's just so much lighter. Like, I just enjoy their interactions.
Yeah, I will say I've enjoyed both of their conversations, and it's weird to me because I don't
feel it a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, she does. She did say on social media though, guys, like, please don't judge me.
You're allowed to flirt. Who cares?
Like, listen, what's gonna harm with the flirt? What are you gonna do?
So Laura wants to find out. Okay, so Laura's having a conversation with, I think it was Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like she was kind of being like, so are you guys having sex? Like, I feel like she wanted to gauge where she was in a relationship wise with them, who I think she perceives to be the strongest couple. But she just seems to be prying a little bit, not just for conversation, but it seemed like it was a little bit calculated, her prying there.
I think it's so weird because sometimes Laura seems like just cool and fine. Yeah, I'm wondering. And then
why wouldn't he have? Maybe he couldn't tell with AD in the pods.
I think he couldn't. But also AD is also a little bit. She's not going to allow him to lead. He wanted somebody to allow him to lead.
But their signs match, though, don't they? He
is a.
He's a
Scorpio, and
she's a Scorpio. Oh no!
Oh, that's why they're flirting.
Right? Right? They get each other. They get each other their sexual kinks, probably. Like, he didn't seem offended by him.
No, not at all.
Stacked and all that stuff. Like, she didn't seem offended by him. Like, I'm offended because, like, I didn't like them sexualizing her, but she seemed to enjoy that kind of banter with him.
Yeah. It's kind of what we saw with Cass and Casey, where everybody's like, how dare he? He's sexualizing her and he's bringing up his dick and all this stuff. And she's just laughing and like it's funny. And like, I think she thought it was harmless. And she answered back in a way that was like, listen, you can go ahead and cross that line as much as you want to, but you're going to end up dying. So
I mean, I think that he's sexually attracted to her, and Scorpios and Libras, I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. It's not great.
Well, I do know someone who is married, who's Scorpio, and he's married to a Libra.
I know one couple as well. I don't know how sexually compatible they are. But chances are their Mercury's, like her Mercury's might be in Scorpio, so that could help them with communication a little bit. And I want to maybe look at their Virgo, their Venus and Mars. But sun signs, this is why they're not able to get on the same page, is because they're speaking two different languages. And so
I don't know. This couple, they like she's the sun, moon, stars, everything. As long as I've known them.
Oh, you're your friend. I'm like, out of these couples, so in sun, moon, stars.
Yeah, my Scorpio Libra combination.
All right, get it.
October 17th is Libra, right?
Yeah. She probably has a Mercury in Scorpio.
Yeah, so like as long as I've known them,
her birthday, my friend's birthday also is the 19th, so it's close to the Scorpio side. So you might have other planets in Scorpio that might help that out. Jeremy does apologize for the bean dip comment to AD. Danita here is saying that Jeremy was doing so good that day with his apology to AD, and then turned around and talked about wanting to meet Sarah Ann. Like, yeah, exactly. Like with this boy, I think he doesn't like Laura and he likes winding her up.
I think that she got to him. I think at first he was okay, but I think her needling him, this is his way. Like, you weren't my only choice. Like, there's somebody else. And then we're going to see there's somebody else who wanted him and still might want him. So he is the prize if you don't like him.
And so Jeremy and Laura, though, they are a Virgo Scorpio combo.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeremy and Sarah Ann are a Scorpio
Scorpio. Mm-hmm.
combo. That's
Yeah.
This is where the temptation is coming in for any of these Scorpio combos. Like it's like the temptation. It's like they're just drawn to each other, and it's
you just speak the same language.
Sexually too is where they're really connecting. Like yes, Laura and him are actually elementally compatible.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Clay and AD, they're elementally the same actually combo. Like
yeah.
But then the Scorpio, just like, you kind of get me though, you know?
Yeah.
We don't have to teach you anything. We just kind of get it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also what some of the draw and the attraction is.
Yeah. I just don't think so with AD and Jimmy, I don't think she's attracted to him in any
way.
But I think the conversations they thrive because you understand me. Like you get me.
Yeah.
Like we can
flirt. Getting some flirting with him because there's an energy there that is comfortable.
Yes.
And it's, they got each other. She's not gonna jump away from Clay for him at all.
Not her.
But if they were single and they had a couple drinks and they were maybe out at a dance club or something like that, I could see them maybe getting a little close, But they're in separate things.
Yeah.
They'll just flirt for now.
Yeah.
All right, so then they go back to North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the living together phase I started talking about. We see, who else did we not talk about them back in North Carolina? Okay, so back to Clay and AD. I said that they practiced cuddling on the couch and that she talked to all of her family, her mom and her sisters. And this is where the dad cheating conversation really happened. He talks about how his dad would take him with him to cheat on his mom. And I have to say, I found it a little bit interesting because in I don't know if it's the 8th or 9th episode, but then his mom was there and I was like, does his mom know that you've told America that his dad's cheated on you his entire life and she might not even know about some of these situations?
He better have warned her before it aired.
Like, I would be furious with my son for bringing that up.
I mean, she did. When we meet her later, she does talk about that her marriage didn't work. She didn't say why, but I mean, now we piecing two together. Yeah.
So Danita says it's so weird that his father took him on infidelity trips. You're teaching your son that it's okay to cheat. Shaking my head. Yeah, and it happens. It's also saying here is that he definitely needs therapy because just because your parent is a cheater doesn't mean he has to be. It's going to be long for AD if he stays in this relationship. And no, of course, it does not mean that you are going to be a cheater, but that is behavior that you understand. The way that that's what you've learned. That's what you've known. Yes, it hasn't worked, but if he hasn't seen successful Black male in relationships and marriages work without any infidelity, he doesn't know where to draw from. He doesn't have the data. And so it might be challenging for him to stay faithful because he doesn't know what that looks like.
It's not even that it's innate in him to cheat. We know that's probably not true, but he doesn't know what it looks like not to cheat. Doesn't know what it looks like in a marriage. The person who he's supposed to emulate, his father, who was married to his mother for how many years? Did it daily and showed it to him. I mean, he did therapy.
Yeah, like he's definitely. It's not genetic, but the behavior has been passed down.
Correct.
and how he deals with if they had maybe an argument and he's like, come on with me, son, like, and then
Yeah.
go and feels comfort with
Yeah.
some other woman because he got in an argument with
Yeah.
his mom. Like, who knows what was taught,
Yeah.
and how he was taught to deal with his feelings and emotions and whatnot, but he's learned them from his father. And so it will be challenging for him to break that pattern because he
It's
doesn't know any
abuse.
different.
It's abuse. His father abused him by showing him this behavior, and it's a cycle he has to figure out how to
I
stop.
don't even know how to help. I mean, therapy will help.
Yeah, yeah.
But he'd have to probably go into couples therapy. And he does say a lot that he wants to go into therapy and that he's
Mhm.
willing to do so. So I
I
applaud.
wish the show would have done, but they don't, and they don't do it until after the fact, and it's so annoying because that is what.
Great for them to start off going to therapy right now and
Yeah,
show like, hey, like he said that he's only learned about cheating, and that is a non-negotiable for me. I don't
yeah,
want to be with a cheater.
yeah,
How can we fix this? And so he's going to have to talk about the urges when he has these urges to cheat and where are they coming from, where they stem from, like what happened in their relationship to make him want to feel like he needs to do something like that. And
yeah.
so he's going to have to do a lot of inner work.
It's a
So
lot.
hopefully he's willing to do so, but
Yeah, I don't know if they have the amount of time that's needed.
3 weeks, I don't
Mhm.
know if that's going to
No.
get rid of a cheater. Not at all. So yes, he's never seen a monogamous black marriage, and actually a lot of people haven't, and so that sucks. It
It
sucks.
does. It does.
It sucks. Like yeah, it's not great. But hopefully he'll become an example, right?
Yeah. I just don't know if it's in this experiment, but
Eventually.
hopefully, eventually, and hopefully, watching this back, if they don't make it down the aisle, he does say, "Okay, yeah, I need I'm never going to get there if I don't work on this." Yeah,
Well, absolutely. If that's something that he wants, like he definitely will have to go to some therapy to work on that. And so as long as the desire is there, he can change the behavior. But if he
you
doesn't
have
care,
to want
then
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
you have
wants
to
it.
want
We'll see. We'll see
it.
what
We'll
happens
see.
with him.
Yeah.
So back now, this is episode 8. I don't remember which couple we started out with, but we'll just talk about them going to Chelsea's place and seeing her roommate. Her roommate is pretty excited and quite hyper. They pop a bottle of champagne together, and he's like, "Yeah, we can't live here because her roommate's too obnoxious." It's like I didn't find her roommate to be
I
that.
didn't find her roommate to be obnoxious at all.
I find Chelsea to be a lot worse,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. No, not at all.
They do go over to his place, and his place is quite big. It's a loft, but she says it's way bigger than she thought it was expecting it to be. Her friends do come and visit at his place, and she shows them the ring, and they're
Mhm.
talking about all their experiences, like experience in the pod, and she talks about Trevor. And it seems like she talked a lot about her connection with Trevor more than her connection with Jimmy.
Because it was like a prize, like, I dumped him. He only wanted me, and I dumped him for Jimmy,
Yeah.
and he was my type. Like, I've told you guys my type. You know my type.
I like a mullet.
Yeah. I'm sorry, like, we're finding out Trevor's trash, but none
Actually,
of this
actually, this is the only
was
time we're going to talk about Trevor, I think. So you might as well spill the tea.
oh, so
Do you want to pull up an
appa
article, or are you just going to read it?
yeah. Oh, so, well, I'll kind of survey it, but we can bring it up. So apparently, come to find out, Trevor had a girlfriend the entire time. So a couple of things came out, and text messages have come out, a whole thing. So I'll pull this up and share this. It's a lot to read, but we'll survey it. Let's share the screen. Share screen. Window. This one. Okay. So on Reddit, I don't know if it might not be able to see it, but apparently somebody.
Pinch out.
Can
You're on a Mac, right?
yes.
Yes, you can just pinch out with your fingers just from the middle and
Oh,
just like this on the little.
is it? No, no, it's not doing it.
Are you sure? Just like
N-
on the little mouse pad thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's not
Maybe
doing.
maybe it's not configured to do that.
Yeah.
Like two
And
fingers to scroll up and down.
yeah,
Okay.
it no, it's not even allowing it to get bigger. It's only allowing this side to get bigger, which is so weird. It's at like 200.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me try it again. Yeah, so based on this, apparently he started dating some guy's wife, broke up their entire marriage, then went on the show and didn't tell this person that he broke up her marriage.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna read this. Hold on, because like I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Okay, I was going to let it go, but the constant self-aggrandizing has gotten to be too much. Trevor was sleeping with my boy's wife while he filmed the show. My guy found out months into it. He confronted Trevor, and it didn't change anything. Trevor Sova knew about my friend's wife and his son and the show, but he continued only to see himself in the situation. He blocked my friend when he tried to confront him on an IG. Seeing him feign heartbreak on the show after not being chosen while knowing that this pissant was dating someone the entire time was ridiculous, especially with the constant ads on social bringing him up. The crazy thing is, my friend's ex found out about Trevor when the promos for the season aired. He didn't even tell him that she'd split from her family to be with him. And now he was going on Netflix to pour out his heart for a friendship bracelet. Oh, and all the while he was still in the DMs of every gym woman in leggings. He'd block them or deactivate his account upon rejection. I think he'd do this so they couldn't prove later what he was up to while filming. Trevor is a creep. He's in every woman's inbox at the local gyms. He was trying to have sex with them within the first couple of sentences because, well, that's what he thinks of. Not just women, but also people. He only sees what he wants. Trevor only cares about himself and you guys thinking he's a good guy, but he's void of any character or integrity. He went on the show so his DMs might get a bit more successful. I wasn't going to say anything. My guy wasn't either. And it absolutely takes two to cheat. But Trevor knowingly agreed to be part of this, knowingly helped destroy a family because he could to a man he'd never met.
Okay. So that is supposedly one situation with Trevor, because there's another one where he had a girlfriend the entire time.
Oh dear.
And I mean,
okay, yeah, play that.
And so he went to film and he had a whole relationship while filming. And these are the text messages. He came back and told her about Chelsea, and then told her about the dog collar. She told him, oh, yeah, your mom told me that Chelsea passed away. I was going to tell you to call your mom. I talked to her a couple of times. She's doing okay. And he said, yeah, I talked to her. But yeah, the girl who was my final match was named Chelsea, and I gave her Chelsea's collar as an item. She's like, that is so cute. And he said, I hope you know how much I love you, and that I had to pretend that this wasn't real life to say anything I said. It's okay, pumpkin, she says. And then he says, I love you so much, honey. I'm excited for it, but more excited to get back to you after and start our life together. Did you get my text? She's like, did you land? Just did. Did you find other people on the plane doing the show? He says the guy at first asked, though, talk to me the whole time and established why we are here and agreed on it. And what was that? She says, no matter what, we are not getting married. She said, nice.
Who is he talking to about no matter what, they're not getting married?
The girlfriend.
No, but he was saying...
Yeah, we don't know what guy he was talking to.
Yeah.
That supposedly said this on
He's his friend in the pot, like in the community room.
show. Yeah. Yeah. So a whole other girlfriend that he had, plus apparently he was cheating and the entire. So apparently Trevor's no prize. And as we talked about a few episodes again, Trevor's supposed to be on Perfect Match through Netflix.
Uh-oh.
So
Did he already film it or no?
yes, they already filmed it because they're like a reality show fan page I know has been uh thinging the cast little by little as the shows come out. So I think there's somebody from Love is Blind 7 also on there, and Tolu, Tolu from the Trust, she will be on there as well.
Tolu.
I
Please
know.
have a person in there for Tolu because, like,
I
she's a
know.
fucking supermodel. She deserved
Yeah.
to have options, all the options. Like,
I'm not sure about
maybe
the Reddit.
Seven getting all the options.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This person says it seems fake.
Ariane's, yes, is saying that it seems fake, to be honest. Sure, I don't know if it's fake or not, but I could also see him sliding into people's DMs, and I can see that,
Yeah.
so I'm not
I
surprised.
don't know about that whole full other story about the wife and
And
the
that could have been maybe embellished.
but the girlfriend is absolutely yes. That is.
Danita wants to know if anybody said, has Trevor said anything yet? There was stuff going on about Jeremy already being engaged.
Yes, I have that as well, and he responded. Yes, I
Okay,
have.
so we will watch that one later too, right?
Yeah. But yes, Jeremy apparently was also engaged, so that is another thing. And then I just saw tea about Kenny as well. So when those it just keeps coming up. I said, meanwhile, we still don't know if there were any couples that got engaged that didn't get shown, and that's what I've been trying to find.
And see, we talked about this yesterday, I think, on your channel,
Yes.
where the purity of these experiments is kind of going out the window because people get so much fame and success and people sliding into their DMs, and they can make these pacts like, let's not get married, let's just do the show, we can just snow these women, like, who cares, they want the ring, but like, we don't have to give it to them. And like, I guess it's a villainous kind of move, but for these shows, I don't want the villain. I want somebody that's looking for love because I find it really fascinating to see this actually work.
Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, this is like The Bachelor. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like it's necessarily The Bachelor because I don't feel like they put them in a pressurized situation that makes them feel certain things with each other. Now, Bachelor in Paradise, I've always said personally, I feel like if you can get engaged and then figure it out. Like, I'm fine with how Aaron B and Eliza went about things. They both not come out and said anything against each other. It just obviously didn't work. They were okay with getting engaged at the time, and it didn't work. And people are upset because they haven't talked about it. But I actually appreciate that they had a connection. They got the ring. It didn't work, and they went about their business it without animosity. Because I feel like if you're in that type of situation and you think, hey, we can maybe get married, go ahead and get engaged
on the show. You might as well.
Yeah, you might as well.
Some people really value like getting the engagement the first time, but like if I'm on a show and someone, I will say yes for sure. Right. Like if I'm into them, like I'm going to say yes. So I think it's a little bit different than The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yeah, I think it's different
because it seems a little bit more calculated here. You don't know if they're going to choose you in the end, but you know that you can propose to somebody in this show, and so it's a little more calculated and more deceptive, and I would say different than The Bachelor or Bachelorette. Where it's like a contestant, they can go up with a game plan, but it doesn't mean that they're going to like you and that you're going to stick around to the end to be able to deny the proposal.
I agree. I absolutely agree. There's some seasons I am not a fan of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, but I don't feel like this is in any way the same type of situation. Are there dishonest people that come to the Bachelor and
There's
the
none.
Bachelorette?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But that doesn't but there's only one person that gets chosen in that season. And so if you're going to compare it, yeah, you could probably compare it to Paradise, because people do come on Paradise and they've had girlfriends and dated other people, broke up with them, come on Paradise, you know, played around, went back to the other person.
Mhm.
But like my whole thing is, I feel like this type of thing is super more calculated than
Yeah.
that.
Way more calculated. Um, so Ken and Brittany, when they're back in Charlotte, he missed his friends and family and whatnot, and so she was kind of like asking him about how he feels, and he's just responding to these emails and text messages, and she's trying to like organize her stuff and like asking if he prefers a certain side in like the
Mm-hmm.
drawers, and he's just not even paying attention to her at all. And it was a little bit hurtful, I would say, because like
Yeah.
she's trying to make the best of a difficult situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she doesn't know exactly how he feels,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just like trying to be like excited about like moving in with this guy that she thinks she fell in love with, and he's just not paying her any mind. He's like, I'm just gonna go downstairs and basically finish doing his emailing.
Yeah.
Eh, Kenny, not great. Not
Yeah.
great.
It wasn't a good showing from Kenny.
So we might as well just talk about episode 8 with Kenny. We can wrap him up, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
show me his tea, and then I guess they're done for the rest of the season until maybe the
Yeah,
reunion.
maybe.
So they go to his place, and it's pretty neat. His place. There's not much food. You know, he had like 2 spices in the cupboard. She is impressed though that it's like you know, a young man like to have such a clean home. Uh, and she mentions though that he isn't as relaxed as he was in the pods. Like he's just not the same person that he was when he was in the pods. And he's kind of taking a little bit of offense to this. He's like, I'm not gonna be extroverted all the time. Like I'm not gonna be
Mm-hmm.
forthright about everything all the time. And so she's a little bit upset because he spends a lot of time catching up with work, which it's fine, but that he'll get home late and she'll already be sleeping, and at that time he like hugs and kisses her and maybe wants to initiate some intimacy, but the woman is asleep, and like you haven't been around her all day. Now he does say that all the steps when he went to get his hair done, that's something you're gonna have to learn about dating a black person, is that if they're going to get
He
their hair
did. He had told her, "Oh, I have to go get my hair done," and then I mean, we all know
it
he has
takes a long time.
locks, and that's going to take a long time.
A long time. Even if the actual act doesn't take a long time, going to the hairdresser is a half day event.
Yeah,
It just is.
yeah,
And so that's going to take a long. And then I think he had lunch with his pastor or something like
yeah,
that. And
yeah,
so he had things that he had to do during the day, and he ended up getting home late, and they missed their whole day
yeah.
together. And so he's kind of like, she feels like the desire is missing, and like what she had, and like the lust and the desire in the pods is gone, and he thinks that it's still there, but he went to, you know, to kind of initiate some cuddling with her, and she wasn't
Mhm,
really feeling into it, and he's like, and
mhm,
I didn't take offense to it, I didn't take offense. And
mhm.
I was just kind of
Right.
like,
You
Kenny,
took
it's
offense.
not the same thing.
No, I think he took offense. I think
Yeah.
he took offense. I'm sorry. I personally think that he took offense that when he was ready to initiate physical touch with her, that she did not want it at that point. And I feel like he feels like, well, I've been patient with you that we are not having sex. I just want to have some physical contact with you and cuddle and, you know, whatever. Are we not going to be able to like cuddle at night or whatever? He took offense that she did not want to do that.
Does he want
And
to
then,
wake up and jump his bones? Like, get out of
well, I
here.
mean, I don't think he was
No,
want
it's not true.
necessarily wanting,
But
but
he said like intimacy, cuddling, like
right.
affection.
But
Yeah.
then you later layer that on top of before and after. She's just like, why isn't he super enthusiastic about everything? And I mean, to be fair, you're engaged. Things should feel a certain way. And I think that's what she thought it was always going to feel like, right? Like always going to be exciting and new
Well,
and
I
oh,
think it should be to a certain extent. I
correct.
mean, I don't know. I've never been engaged, but like I would hope that the tingles would still be there.
I would hope too, but I also understand like you getting engaged and then you have to go back to work and you have to figure this out and you have
Yeah, I
responsibilities.
mean, them is obviously it's like an accelerated process,
Yeah,
and they haven't learned how to get their connection back up from the pods. In the pods, they
right,
were just focused on each other, focused on their conversation,
right,
focused on their words. Their words became, just a way for them to really communicate and imagining the. And I think it was a really fulfilling experience. And now that they're back in the real world, there's a lot of distractions, and I
right,
think that that's what the issue is here, being able to acclimatize to the real world and then keep that same intimacy and affection that they had for each other in the pods. And so
right.
she looks like she's willing to work on this, but that man was not willing to work on this. He said, "This is not going to work. Give me a hug so there's no bad blood." I was like, I rewound it because I was like, wait, what? They just broke up?
He dipped. He dipped. Now, I understand that this did not look good for Kenny, but I saw things like, oh, he gaslit her. I said, I don't feel
Oh,
like he gaslit her. Um, he just didn't want to work on it,
yeah.
right? So that's what looks bad because it's like you came out the pod saying that anything you didn't care, this was your person, and
And
then
like she's
the
crying
minute that
there, wanting it to work, wanting to get this connection back, and you're just like,
yeah,
you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. Let's hug it out. Like,
right,
wait, what? We're engaged.
like the minute like a small minute little thing happened, you did not want to work through it at all, which tells me there was something else. I don't feel like he was honest about at that point. I think he just had concerns about how this relationship would ever
Fair, then that's allowed
work.
to happen.
And
And
so
he expressed
I
it.
don't feel like that meant he was gaslighting her. I think there was two things can be true. There he had concerns and he also felt like, well, I don't think she wants this because she doesn't like my personality during the day and then at night she doesn't want to cuddle and I'm trying to give her what I can give her, and not understanding at that point you just don't care about what she wants or needs and fulfilling that either. He had that part
He did
of
have his part of the thing. Like, I can't believe they played that
and
because it
he
was
must have told him because he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna pack up
yeah,
and
I'm gonna
I'll be
stuff. I'm gonna pop on over there, and I'm just like, he was ready to go.
ready to go."
I felt bad for her because I think that she was really willing to work on it.
Mm-hmm,
She thought that she found her person, and that means that they're going to work on it no matter what. They had so many things that they agreed about, and they
mm-hmm.
shared value wise. And like the moment that there was any sort of conflict,
Anything.
he was ready to bounce without any. Don't come ask go. Don't collect $200. Like he is
Dipped.
gone.
He dipped, guys. I was shook. I was like, not kidding, because I would have. Yeah. Because yes. So that is
Okay,
the tea.
okay. I mean, I have not heard anything about this. So JB here is saying that there's a theory that Ken is struggling with his sexuality, but was trying to see if he could overcome it. Okay.
So that is the tea, apparently.
Okay. So do you have an article or what do you have to
Yeah.
show here?
So here it is some messages to that somebody put. I think this looks like Facebook, right? I think this is like Facebook. That looks like Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So somebody replies to somebody, "Oh, he's Rainbow. He's my cousin." And the person said, "Are you really cousin?" Like, yes, 100%. So why'd he go on the show? Simply to try and please his family
This
and TV time, I guess. And somebody else says sounds real.
sounds about right.
And so we do see this also looks like Facebook. Go cousin. I love to see it. And he's tagged and he liked it.
Okay, so we know that that person is his cousin.
Correct.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Which is also a possibility.
It's a
I'm not.
possibility. I do wish though that he had shared that with her though, maybe it was in confidence. Or I guess he wouldn't want it to be on the show because if he's worried about his friends and his family.
Mhm.
Um and maybe when he's talking to his pastor, maybe his pastor suggested him doing this because maybe he's had some thoughts and maybe he shared it with his
And I
pastor.
told you he's a principal of a Christian school.
Mhm.
So yeah. Um Unfortunate all around either way.
He didn't treat that situation very well.
I still I I don't want to make him the villain.
Mhm.
I don't want to, because I think too often black men are made the villain in this situation, and I feel like other men and women get to dip and leave, and everybody's like, oh, they just knew what they wanted and blah blah blah. I don't feel like he gaslit her. I do feel like he did
To be
feel,
completely honest.
yes, I do feel like he wasn't completely honest, but I do feel like the little differences in how they wanted physical touch might have played into it. Well, if she wants it this way and I want it this way, and I'm not really that attracted to her. Maybe I am but if he is still questioning him, that's something he again also. I'm going to say that I appreciate him dipping out early enough
Mhm.
to work on him and leave her be.
So Rachel is saying, yeah, it wasn't a good look. And the example if he gave a physical touch wasn't good. Don't wake me up in the middle of the night. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah, no. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not saying I agree with him. I'm just saying that I think it was a issue. I'm saying because people are acting like he gaslit her and it wasn't an issue, and I'm saying that I think it might have compounded on top of
but
everything.
if he is questioning his sexuality,
Yeah.
and it's very interesting that I know you can hide behind faith being like I want to wait till marriage, and
Right.
so I think that he liked that the fact that he wasn't going to have to put himself in a sexual situation
Mhm.
because he didn't feel necessarily comfortable with having sexual relationships with a woman at this point in his relationship with her. And so that makes sense to me. It also makes sense the fact that he's not overtly wanting to touch her or like be around her in that way because maybe he isn't actually attracted to her or doesn't know who he's attracted to, and maybe her being like, well, I want more of this and I want more of that, and he's like, he doesn't feel compelled to want to do it because maybe he's just not attracted
Connected
to
to
her.
her. Right. And that's what I said earlier. I think it was about a combination of things. And so I don't feel like it's fair to make him a villain because he didn't want to be with this beautiful, sweet, seemingly sweet white woman. Like
Mhm.
I think we have to be careful doing that with somebody, in my opinion, who has done a lot less than some of these other men
Mhm.
on this show. So if he is questioning whatever he was questioning in himself, whether it's his attraction to her, his need for physical affection, his want for her to be able
He's
to
also
have
still a pretty
children.
young guy.
He's
He
still a
looks
young
older than
guy.
he is, but he's
Right.
25. Like
Right.
25 is like the same age as like Johnny Middleton, or like Johnny
Yes.
Middleton's like a year younger. Like they're in the same
Yes.
age bracket. Like
Yes.
these are babies, little babies, young. I mean, I thought I was a big woman when I was 25, but young, young,
Yes.
young.
So
Rachel says,
I
I'm glad for Peter.
appreciate that he dipped when he did, personally.
Rachel says, I'm glad Brittany's spoken out about the hate that Ken is receiving. People are sending him racist and homophobic
Of
stuff.
course
Like,
they are.
get out of here.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Get out of here. Well, I mean, I don't want to be forcing anybody to do anything that they don't want to do, of course. And
Mhm.
so I am happy that he decided to step out. I do wish he maybe had a little more conversation with Brittany, which he might have, that we just didn't see.
Yeah, it could have been edited. Maybe it was very sensitive and both of them asked not for it to be shown in a way. But yes, he's spoken highly of her, she's spoken
Might have been
highly
one
of
of
them.
those.
I don't I think he he went about it in the best way that I don't think there's animosity. Just not the best way that for this show's premise.
Well, I mean, coming home at 1:30, maybe it's because it's dark out and you wouldn't be able to see who was in the bed, and maybe you could be turned on by her. I don't know. I don't know. I think, yeah, it could just also be an excuse to be like, oh, like you weren't tired, like you were tired when I was ready to go, and just so like he doesn't have to. He has an excuse to not go through it. I don't know. Whatever it was the case, he handled it the best way that he knew how in the moment. It wasn't great, but I'm happy that he took himself out of that situation instead of going through with the wedding and marrying her and then still having these feelings that he's hasn't resolved yet. So
Danita just put out something that's interesting.
Gina says they both came out and said the breakup was about a week from the wedding. So we definitely missed conversations.
Okay, so yeah, we missed a lot of conversation. I'm not going to sit here and hate on either one of them. I don't think either of them did anything wrong. And
I mean, it seemed like it was like as soon as they moved in together that the breakup conversation happened.
Right.
Just like,
But maybe it was that he wasn't spending a lot of time in the house, and maybe she was feeling alone, and maybe they weren't even arguing about it. They were just kind of like ships sailing in the night, and then it was just like fizzled, gone.
No, not came out, JB. It came like into the public forum with this information. So is there anything else that we want to say about the Ken and Brittany situation? Because that's about it.
I was just shocked at how fast he did. That's it. But obviously it wasn't that fast for real. So I mean, he did try for 3 weeks then, so I don't know. I'm going to give him grace. I've seen worse breakups on reality TV.
For sure.
To be sure, for real. I don't think he's a villain. I don't think he's a horrible person. And I'm glad he didn't get her to the aisle, get her dressed up, or have her father there and dump her. And so I'm okay with this breakup, guys. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Like she had an experience. It's still a pretty cool experience. I would be grateful for that. Like it's pretty
and she seems very sweet. I have no problem with Brittany. I think she just needs to find the right black man, because that was not him.
We didn't finish talking about Chelsea and Jimmy in this episode. So she was with her friends at his place. She talks to them about him he didn't kiss me today. He didn't kiss me once today. And apparently he saw Jessica. Somebody showed her a picture of Jessica's Instagram. Mm-hmm. That's the other person. She does bring up, she's like, well, who do people always tell me that I look like? Who do people tell me all this on the plane? Who do they tell me? And they're like, Megan Fox. And so like, she definitely tried to validate the fact that she said that people say that she looks like Megan Fox. She doesn't, not even if you squint, but maybe their eye color is the same blue. Maybe.
Apparently she came out and apologized to her.
I know, like Megan Fox is trending on Love is Blind, and she's like, what's going on here? What is going on here? And so after her friends leaves, she does talk to him and being like, how do you like my friends? And he does really like them. And then we get into her needing the validation again. She's like, you didn't tell me I'm pretty today. You didn't kiss me today. And it's like, when you start counting kisses and counting like every single interaction that you have, it's not good. Like you're definitely too needy, because like how do you don't like, you're counting the kisses when I'm at work?
It's so weird. I don't want to say weird, but it's just so off-putting the way she's handling everything, because it's like, first of all, if he's working, of course he didn't kiss you. And then second of all, why you like you're being very specific about very specific things that he's able to like wiggle out of, because he's like, I did kiss you. Wait, I did kiss you. I kissed you this morning. Oh, well, yeah, but you didn't kiss me more. And it's like,
and he says, he's like, I kissed you when you were, I think he said, brushing your teeth, and then I kissed you after work before, and he's like, and then she still forgot that he said that he kissed her twice.
Yes.
And like, oh yeah, when she was getting ready for her friends, but he kissed her over here because he didn't want to ruin her makeup because she just had finished her makeup. So
Yep.
like, he specifically remembers a couple times kissing her. Maybe she needs him to like grab her ass and like give her a passionate kiss or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I think it was like he didn't come into to the house when she was with her friends and just like grab her panish and later like show them like, oh look, he loves me. So and I'm just that, listen, no, that's so insecure. I'm sorry, that is so like you're placating to your friends who shouldn't care what like him grabbing you passionately in front of them. Like, no, like they're like they look at the ring.
Like, oh my God, he can't keep his hands off of you.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's a competition for her. It's a competition for her all around. It's not a good look to me.
She needs everybody to know that he's like interested in her.
Yes.
And it's like the more that you do this, the more that it looks like he's not.
Yes.
Because it's just like, how can somebody be like, it's just like not possible. She's creating the person that yeah. Chelsea stresses Jimmy out. Yes. So stressful. Yeah. Danita says Chelsea be lying. First it was, I didn't tell the girl that you said you loved me.
Oh my God, she lies.
And now it's, you didn't kiss me, but he did. Just not full on. Like, does he have to like have like a checklist on like the type of kisses that how many that he gives every day? I mean, like, okay, I need 3 passionate kisses for at least 5 seconds each at like once an hour.
No.
I need to have 1 peck before, if you pass me in the hallway, I need to have 1 peck for sure. And then, okay, in front of friends, I need to have a passionate kiss with an ass grab and maybe a light spank. But I make sure though that my friends see this kiss, because if my friends don't see this kiss, did it ever happen?
No. If I have to do all of that, if I have to say all of that, I don't want it. Why would you want all of that? Why would you want to have to say that? I do not want to tell my person how to treat me in that manner. They should feel it.
People, like, if I wanted someone to kiss me all the time, I would probably
initiate
them all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So like, if he initiates it,
yeah, or even come up to him. I've done this. Kiss me now.
Yeah, right.
Like, most men find that sexy.
People making it a joke, being like, this seems like a little bit of a kissing moment. Come over here, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, if you want more kisses, you also have to maybe show when these kisses would make sense, or when you would like to have them. Like, if it's not coming naturally because he's at work, like,
she is.
I can't diagnose, obviously, JB, but it seems as though she may have anxious attachment, like from what I know about that.
Really? Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh.
So yes, she needs to do some work on herself, because like her rules to be in a relationship with Chelsea are tiring. So he's starting to get annoyed, right? Because like she keeps on harping on the same thing, pretending like she's easygoing, but she's not actually easygoing about the situation. Harping on the same things, even though he said like, I've done that, and is like, I'm sorry that I didn't do that, I'll do it more. And he's like, well, you've been clingy.
And this is why I feel like a little bit like Jimmy got to get out the ghost, because then he snipes, right? Yeah. And it's like, oh, Jimmy, like we get it. Like, you probably don't want to be here, and you're trying, and she's pushing your buttons. I get it. I understand. And but you can't do that, right? You just,
I mean, I was with him. I don't know.
No, I agreed with him. But I mean, I felt like he was actually kind to
Well,
her.
like, he was fine, and she should have just let it go, and then she just would never let it go. And
Right.
so he just was like, okay, well, like, you've been being clingy, and I haven't said. And so he's been being she's been being clingy, and then no, that's the most hurtful thing you ever say to me. It's like you're saying I'm clingy.
But
Well,
you are.
what would you rather me say? That I can't stand you, and like you really are giving me the ick? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And then she's like, I was jealous of the conversation, the Jessica conversation. I'm like,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And she's like, that's rude. That's rude. And he's like, you know what? I need space. He's just like, got a dip. And I'm happy that he actually left here
Yes.
because
Yeah.
like he's just too much. Too much. She's too much.
She is. She's a lot. She's a lot. Like, you have to enter your relationship. That's what I'm saying. I think even if Trevor was in the spot, you would just have to know. Oh
Rachel's
yes.
like,
He's like, we can do a little less of that. I was like, holy shit. Somebody I follow on Twitter said if somebody
that's
said
not what he said it, but it was in the next episode. But yeah, go.
somebody said to me that they want a sex break from me, I would like throw myself somewhere, like end it all. Because why would you continue then to have sex with somebody in that situation? No.
That I think is worse than saying that you're clingy.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and I think though maybe the reason why he wants the sex break is because I think she's becoming too emotionally attached in
Mhm.
a way that it's too much for him.
Well,
Like,
can you imagine what she's saying in bed if this is the stuff she's saying out of bed? Like in bed, oh, do you like me? Do you want me? Tell me
you
that.
think
Like,
I'm a hot body? You think I'm
yeah,
sexy?
yeah, like how, the sex talks that she might probably in bed trying
Oh
to.
he probably is. I mean, I almost want to see it because, like, it might be entertaining because it's like this woman is like he must be just terrified, like to say the wrong thing because she just might her head might start spinning. Like I don't know. I think he's kind of scared of her. She's a little bit unhinged. So
Yeah,
I can understand if he's like a little bit apprehensive around her.
yeah.
Okay, so episode 8 for AD and Clay. So he bought his home in 2021. So I thought was pretty awesome. He has a really nice space that
Mhm.
he owns, and he wants her to move in with him. And he does have enough room, and it could be a place where they start growing a family there. There's enough room there, but it needs a woman's touch, and she's happy that it needs a woman's touch because that means he hasn't had other women living there. And so in her eyes, that's a good thing that
That's a good
he's going
thing.
to be the first person that's going to kind of put her touch on his living space. She could see herself there. So I definitely liked their first moving into his home.
Yeah.
Then we're going to meet him. They're going to go out for lunch or a meal of some sort. And they're going to meet his mom and his sister, his mom, Margarita, and his sister, Taylor. They talk about their incompatibility with schedule wise. It seems like she's very reasonable, rational, and kind with her expectations, I feel. And she's like,
I felt she was absolutely being reasonable.
she's just like, well, you could make other time. And he's making excuses as to why he hasn't been able to make time. But
Because it sounded to me like he was being lazy. Personally, it's
absolutely,
and I get it. Trust me,
it's
it
work.
it's work. It does. Like I said this, even if it was just a friendship, that shit takes work to decide you're going to leave one spot, go to another spot, knowing you have to go to another spot just to spend time with somebody, whether you love them a lot or not, because I have to do that with my children. And that's not, you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
even for me, like if I have a friend that has a layover at the
mhm,
airport, I will go
mhm,
to the airport and go see my friend that has a 3-hour airport and we'll hang out at the airport. Or
mhm.
if I'm in a city and I have a 6-hour layover, I will make a plan to go meet somebody and go and they will leave work or do whatever they can to come and meet me. It's annoying, but it's effort and it's work if you want to do it. You know what I mean? And like it's usually it's yes, it's a hassle, but it's also has like a reward because you get to spend time with that person. And so you make that effort if you want to spend time with that person. And I think that that's what he doesn't seem to understand is
No.
that, like, yeah, it's annoying. Like, okay, you might have to drive an extra half an hour because you're going to go see your girl, but
Right.
like, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal.
Right.
Because what's the point of doing all this work and having all this money in the savings and whatever if you don't have someone to share it with? Someone that cares about your successes, someone that's there to support you, someone that's going to go and help put a woman's touch on your home. Like, what's the point of it all? Working that hard if you don't have someone to share with it,
I
right?
don't
So,
know. I don't know. And I
and
I
this,
agreed
sorry.
with her
Mhm.
that if he cared, he would do it. And even his mother had to say, yeah, she's not asking something unreasonable.
Yeah, I love what his mom kind of piped in, but then I was feeling bad. I was like, but she was cheating on this whole fucking time, like with the dad, and like, I mean, I'm happy though that I was agreeing with AD,
Hmm.
but her mom says that you can make the time,
Yeah.
and then he said, so I did this and this and this, like, so what's the problem? And she's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like that
Even
was
the mom
rude
was
how he
like,
said that.
I'm going to take a sip here.
Like, I wish his mom checked him there because,
I
like,
think she had to take the sip not to check him. I think I will say this. I will give his mother a lot because I think it takes a lot not to put yourself in the middle
mhm,
already to start knowing what you know as a person who's divorced,
mhm.
and you don't want them to make the same mistakes you did, but also you know that you have to let them make mistakes.
Well, and then also though, I'm just thinking about even with the cheating situation, right?
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
like, I could see him cheating when he's
Hmm.
on the road
Yes.
because he hasn't made time to see his girl and he's horny and he's away and somebody's easily just comes to him or he stumbles onto them,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
if he put in the effort into his relationship, he won't necessarily need to be
Feel the
sexually
need to do
satisfied with
that.
somebody else
Exactly.
because he's getting it from his girl because he's making time for her. And so it seems like the cheating pattern that he's developed is lazy. When he's lazy, he just
Mhm.
wants the quick satisfaction of a woman in whatever way he needs it, whether it's emotional, whether it's sexual, whether it's, just having company. I think that that's why him and his family, his father have been cheating, is like, it's just convenient
It's just convenience. Yeah. Yeah. I can
because
see that.
it's inconvenient, but like he can have it. I'm sure he can have it whenever he wants, but it might take a little bit of extra work, like a 20-minute drive, like instead of having someone that's just right there that you don't need to promise anything to.
True.
Yeah. That's the end of them on this episode 8. Let's talk about Laura and Jeremy episode 8. We see old photos of him on his wall, and he actually has a really, really clean home. They find a note from his mom, and she reads
Mhm.
the note, and his mom is very complimentary and really excited about the relationship and positive energy towards it. Uh, Laura thinks that his home looks staged. She's actually shocked because he said that he was really neat and he's actually really neat. So she's very, very surprised that he is as neat as he said that he was. She's like, gives like serial killer vibes, but like in a good way. I did find it funny when he brings up the CPAC machine and like he's like laying beside her and like she's like, I'm gonna have to fall asleep ahead before you because it's definitely not a sexy machine at all.
It's loud,
It's
and
he said it wasn't loud though.
it's loud. It's not loud to you when you're putting the mask on and you're
Yeah,
falling asleep, but it's loud for your partner.
yeah. Yeah. Beforehand, Laura was excited to start living with Jeremy. And so they talk about their kind of deal breakers. She's like, if they're shaving, I don't want to see any hair shaving. I don't want to, if there's food left over, I don't want to just throw it away. If
Mhm.
you're gonna spit in the sink, spit in the sink. And that's what I wrote. I'm like, oh, he's cute with a hat on. So he's
Ah,
actually he's cute with a hat on.
yeah.
Um, So they're talking about how nervous are you to meet my parents. So this is Laura's parents are going to be, and family is going to be coming to meet them. And he's like, no, I don't get nervous. I was like, he doesn't seem like he gets nervous at all. We do meet Rick and Cindy, which are his parents, and then Eric and Megan. So Eric is her brother, and Megan is his wife or girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom asks him, like, why did you decide to do this experiment? Like, why? And he said that he's had a lot of bad past relationships, and he wanted to kind of come at this one a new way to see, if he can meet somebody that has the same values, is on the same life trajectory as he is. And so that's why he really
That
wanted
is
to.
why I applied for the show as well. So I can't say he's lying because, yeah.
It hasn't worked on this side, so let's try something new. 100%. I think it's really cool to try these new things and new ways of like getting into relationships. And so they have interesting banter. He kind of acts like he really doesn't like her, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and she also kind of acts like she doesn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're all like, you tell this story, honey. You tell this story, honey. Like they're acting like they have had this banter for 30 years. And like people know that they love each other. This is the way they are. But for me, if I was just seeing them present this, I would think that they are not going to get married and that they don't actually really like each other.
Yeah. The thing is, I think one of them is trying to get the other to yield that they like them more than the other. Like somebody has to like you more than
And
right.
she wants it to be him, and he's not giving that to her.
No. And again, he also has this side person that he had potential with that,
which she makes him bring that up. Like, like he's like, well, tell him about the Sarah Ann thing, and like they don't really explain that story that well, I found. But she does come around but to saying her pros and con list, and this is why she decided to choose him, because his con list was like Hawaiian shirts and motorcycles. And I actually thought it was hilarious that her brother's like, oh, I love a good Hawaiian shirt. Get a good Hawaiian shirt. A nice fitted Hawaiian shirt. That's so great.
yeah.
I thought it was funny that they totally thought her deal breaker was like jokes. And then she did realize though that her con list was so short with things that were really superficial, and that her pro list, like religion and political stances and things that are a little bit more important, they did align. And so she decided that she didn't care about the superficial, and that the pro list was the direction that she wanted to go. What would you think about the whole interaction with her parents and him?
I thought the family they seem to really like him, which actually, bodes well for him, because I feel like she was trying to make it seem like he was terrible. And they were just like this, all of this kind of still adds up to the problem is you. And so
she's not that into him, and she's trying to change him
and stop doing that. Right. So I mean, I'm glad that her family was able to see it that way, because that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's a prize and he's a catch. I'm saying she's not approaching this relationship properly.
No, I do not see them making it to the altar, or like through the altar. I don't think they will. Amy and Johnny, did we talk about them the whole thing, or no? Did we do their whole? No, we didn't. So at her place, she does have some crystals. And the one conversation that really stood out that they have is he says that he wants to live frugally, and so he can save money and retire early. And then she's like, but I want to like live life up and enjoy life. And she does want to be financially sound. They both do before kids. But we learn in her ITMs that they haven't really been sexually intimate. She doesn't use any birth control, because she's anemic and she wants to be in more control of her cycle in that way. I was like, I felt akin, because she gets intravenous iron and I get IV iron once a month. And so I was like, oh, there's other people like me getting IV iron. And so he's really, really concerned about like having a child when he's not ready. And so she's suggesting like a vasectomy that could be obviously reversed if they want it to be. But the fact that they're not having any sort of sexual interaction because of he doesn't even think that contraceptions are enough. Like it's a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So he did mention it during beach day to somebody else, and I forget who, that they weren't having sex because she's not on any birth control. He doesn't want to have any slip ups. And I was like, okay, fair. But when they started having the full conversation, it kind of did feel like, oh, wow, like he's really kind of putting this all on her. And I understand how birth can do, like, people do not understand. It's like
Pull on your body.
birth control can frig you up. And then if you already have pre-existing issues, birth control can really frig you up. That is why people either forgo or use birth control, which is why it should be a woman's choice how she wants to handle her birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And then you as a family have to plan around it, because trust me, there's some things that birth control could do to your body you never even think about. And it's like people being on medication for mental illnesses. Like, if your body is not perfectly regulated towards it, and it can take trial and error, and then when doctors and scientists and whoever else decide, oh, we're not going to allow that specific birth control for you no more, you're fucked.
Well,
So,
also though, like I've heard stories and I know people who stop liking their partner as soon as they go on birth control because they're no longer attracted to them. See? It can happen because it completely changes your
hormones out of control on certain birth controls. I've definitely been there.
And so I love the fact that like he's just like, oh, she should just go on birth control so we can do whatever we want. And it's like it's a little bit more than that, honey. Like, and just the fact that he's so concerned about having a child when he's not ready, it's just a little bit frustrating, like his hard stance here.
I liked what she said. Vasectomy is a thing. It's also reversible. Literally, they could go to a sperm bank, put his sperm in a sperm bank, have it ready for them when they're ready, and have him have a vasectomy, which is still reversible, and go about their business.
I mean, he's the one that has the biggest problem with, like, I guess he doesn't want to use condoms because he's worried about condoms breaking.
Right.
And, she doesn't want to use any. Oh, be finding it's Ivy Iron too. Yay. Ivy Iron Club. Oh my God. I feel like Superwoman after I get iron. I love getting iron. I'm like, who's going to test me? Like, give it. So yeah, I wasn't really impressed by his position here. It seemed very masculine and quite sexist, like in the sense that like no consideration of what a woman actually has to go through. It's like, you want to get your rocks off, but you don't want to have a baby, but this is her problem.
Right.
Yep,
that's it. That's what I got from it.
Miss Love's in the club too. Aw, we don't really talks about it. I was supposed to have a treatment. I had to do it next week because I missed my treatment last week because I wasn't in town. Yeah, no, I get it once a month, and it's like my favorite thing ever. Even though it's long, it takes like 3 hours. But like, I do love how I feel when I get it done. But nobody talks about it. I didn't even know it was a thing until I started going.
Yeah.
So I love that there's a club. Yay.
I've only had to do it whenever I was pregnant. I've had to do it, but that's because I was pregnant and my children were eating up all my iron, and so there was one child who did it the worst, and I actually had to go once a week before I had that child.
Wow. Okay. They're really worried about.
Yeah.
Ariana says if it means that much, he should take his family planning into his own hands and get a vasectomy.
That's what I'm saying. I
100.
think that was the perfect solution, and he glossed over.
Well, he doesn't want to have to do something about it, right? It's for the woman. It's her problem. I can dictate what the problem is, and she can fix it with her body.
I was like,
Danita says you can tell that convo that Johnny doesn't know much about the topic, just talking like a man. So glad Amy schooled him.
He did.
Get it. Okay, so let's just quickly then talk about episode 9 with Amy and Johnny. We see them learning bachata in slow-mo. They're learning to dance because they want to dance at their wedding. Then we meet Johnny's sister Maria and Anna, and Maria's fiance Cameron, and they had his siblings were really sweet. They're just super excited. They're happy for him. They were engaging. They were really proud that he found somebody in this experiment, and they seemed really supportive and happy about it. And they love the fact that they talked about the names that they almost had. So her name that she almost had was Olenska, and his was Stone. And the fact that she knew that his was Stone, the sisters definitely approved of Amy. How do you feel about this situation? And is there anything else about this couple that you want to talk about these last 3 episodes?
I mean, like I said, right now they're still, even with all of this, the strongest couple. They just need to have some more conversations. That being said, I think her dad might be the determining factor here.
Well, and if she talks to anybody about the whole child conversation, they might be like, he's a little bit childish.
Yeah, like he's willing to risk you being in harm's way just so that he can get his rocks off.
Medically, she's not on birth control, but that's a problem for you, and you don't want to solve the problem in a way that you could help.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Problematic. So
and also from experience, having a disparity in how you both handle and treat money or view money is also a difficulty that is very hard to overcome. So
now, it's interesting though, because he is a Sagittarius, I believe, and she is a Leo. So they're both fire signs, and fire signs tend to want to experience things. They love excitement, and so his money concerns. I would like to see his chart to understand why he feels the need to put
hoard money
down. Yeah, hoard money. So it could be, sorry, no offense, it could be a Taurus aspect, because Taurus about building things in the material world, finances and savings. It also Taurus stuff is self-worth as well, so maybe he feels that he's only worthy when he can provide. And so I wonder if he has something or a few things in his chart in Taurus, or a lot of things in his second house, where he feels that he needs to gain and keep money and feel security and stable financially in order for him to feel valued and that he's valuable as a parent. I think he doesn't realize that you don't necessarily need to be super rich to be able to handle having a child.
Children, yes.
You probably won't ever have enough money. You probably
you never have
a gazillionaire. You always can have more. So.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say, as a Taurus, it is that is literally so not me, but my ex-husband, it is him. So we're both Tauruses, and so that was a lot.
Maybe the male expression of Taurus, right?
Yeah, and that was a lot of our issues, just how I spent money, and he did not want any money spent. Even on our children,
that's stresses me out, because I love spending money so much.
Yeah, so it's I just made concessions about certain things. So I was saying the other day, Valentine's Day has never been a romantic holiday that
you don't want to spend money on whatever,
because he would never want to spend money on Valentine's Day. And so I think we've gone out once that I had to like I found a prefix menu that like if I didn't plan it, it was never going to happen. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
like, but that's just it for me. But like, before and after that, it was like, like I don't feel like fighting about it. So all I used to do is just do what my mom did for me and my sisters, get my kids Valentine's Day gifts, and I would set them up for them and give them to them. But
You make me
yeah,
cry.
don't cry.
It's so sweet. It's like my kids are my Valentines. um so we head over to Laura and Jess having a conversation. Jess is now in the picture. They were wearing matching outfits. And apparently, well, firstly, Jess talks about Autumn, and Autumn was surprised that her mom didn't find a guy in the pod. So I guess she didn't realize that it was a Love is Blind experiment.
Yeah.
He would definitely have found a partner if they could see what she looked like. You know what I mean? Like people would have snatched her up for sure.
Wait, he chose somebody and the person was not you? Like,
I love the encourage. She's just like, my mom's a baddie. How dare he?
but it's like he couldn't see her. So that's A. And he couldn't see the other person. So that's
and so apparently though he saw a friend request. She saw a friend request from him soon after they got out of the pods, and she didn't immediately respond to it. And then when she went back, she saw that he retracted that response and then put his Instagram on private. So I'm thinking that he definitely saw like, oh my God, she's really hot. Let me add her as a friend. And then he probably had some sort of conversation with Chelsea and was like, oh God, I can't, oh my God, let me get racist. This didn't happen. I didn't look at her. I don't want to have to deal with her like grilling me on the fact that like I looked at her profile and do I think she's pretty? And like, oh my God, and like she's like Kardashian, like like just spiraling that he
was like, nope, that's it, stage left. Not doing that.
Let's retract that. And then so we also hear that Sarah Ann DM'd Jeremy, and she reads. Wait, so how did that work? Why did she have that? Oh, Laura. Sorry, Laura is with Jeremy. That's why I'm like, why did she have that? So she read whatever this comment was. She took a picture over Jeremy's phone to see what she had written to her, and it was basically, do you have it there or no? I don't know if you're reading.
No, I didn't.
That's okay. And so she reads it, and it's basically like, hey, like if things don't work out in the pods, like would you want to have a conversation, blah 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 blah, which it's a bit meddling, I would say. Sarah Ann, it's a little bit rude. I wonder if the producer
I felt it was rude.
Yeah,
I felt it was rude. I felt it stepped over the line.
Yeah, I wonder if the producers was like, well, go get your man. If you think that he made a mistake, get your man. So I wonder.
Possibly, but I also think that she had the balls to just be like, well, I still want him.
Well, and yeah, they do connect, right?
Yeah.
And like she probably thinks that she's better than Laura.
Yep.
And so she'd be like, well, you're testing out Laura. Is that working? Or do you want to test me out?
Yeah, like he can't be happy. There's no way he's happy with her.
Right?
Yeah. Like, so for her, like, she probably didn't think it was rude because in her head, there's no way that he's happy.
I mean, he's not. So she's got that right.
Right.
And Jessica does say that all of Johnny's exes look like her. And so I was like, interesting.
Oh, Jessica's ITM source.
She was even joking with the producers, huh?
Yeah, I hated to laugh. I was like, shit.
So continuing on with Laura and Jeremy. So we learn that this is episode 9 now, that he left at 10:45. I'm assuming it was PM to go to the club. And he came back after 5 something in the effing morning.
In the morning.
Which is it's a problem.
Yes. I'm gonna say this. My ex-husband did that once without letting me know he was going to do that. And I told him if he ever did something like that again, don't come home. Don't even bother.
Exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
ever do that bullshit. I don't care who you
You're
are
in a
with.
relationship,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you don't need to be anywhere till 5 a.m.
And I know where he was. He was at his mother's house playing cards and stuff with his brother-in-laws. I still don't give a damn. You do not go out until 5 a.m. and don't say nothing. Nothing.
No. Or just be like, yeah. So apparently he turned on his location, and so that should have been enough. And the way that he was sitting there, like giving attitude when he was wrong, I was like, this guy is trash.
He thinks that he can exit stage left and he still will have a prize in the end. That is what I got from that.
So apparently he was going to go to one place and the plan changed, and they're going to go to another place and the plan changed, and they went to another place, lost and found, I think they said, and then they were there, and then they warned him that Sarah Ann was going to be there, and so instead of like him leaving, like he's like, well, I'm not going to let someone like just dictate the way that I live my life, and so.
But who's the someone? Sarah Ann or Laura? Because he knew that it was going to piss her off that Sarah Ann was going to be there. I don't think he cared about Sarah Ann being there. I think he was worried about Laura dictating.
Like, oh, who was there? Oh, Sarah Ann was there. Oh, she was. And
yeah.
You stayed?
Yeah.
You stayed.
Exactly.
Okay. You stayed.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk? Well, they did talk. Apparently, they talked until 5 o'clock in the morning. And also, apparently, it was in the area where she lives. So, like, I don't think she said like north of the city or whatever. Is where at 5 a.m. ish where his location was.
Yeah.
So do you think that he dropped her off, or do you think that he went all the way with her? Like, what do you think?
I don't know about all the way, but it sounded like he had said before he wanted to have a conversation with her, but he probably offered her a ride after they saw each other at the club, and they probably sat outside her house talking until that time of morning. At the very least.
At the very least. Oh, when she came, like, they started to have the conversation, and he had his glasses on, and she's like, "Can you take off your glasses while you're talking to me?" And he's just like, I was just like, why so much vim for you being a dickhead? Like, what?
Like, so inappropriate. Like, there is like, no appropriateness of what you just did, and you don't get to be I'm right in this situation.
And Laura said, she's like, you're supposed to shut it down. And when she said that, I was like, I'm hearing Ella in my head. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Don't stay friendly as flirty.
Shut it down. So what did you have to show me about Jeremy?
Oh, so Mr. Jeremy.
Oh, dear. Mr. Jeremy.
Jeremy, apparently, here we go. He was outed for apparently being engaged and living with someone with a kid when he applied for the show and got on.
Lord have mercy.
And somebody asked, oh, well, where did you find this? And the person said, in my phone, because that's my daughter and my grandson.
Wow.
And they're like, wait a second, your daughter was engaged to Jeremy? And somebody's like, not in my phone, go off. Wow. Oh, wow, no bueno, sorry.
Oh, man. I have to agree with Bejas here. This bitch background check. Like where is the background check? Why are they not, like, you go through so many interviews and you're asked so many questions. Like, how do they not figure this out before they get on the damn show?
Yeah. So apparently he did do like a response. So here.
Oh. Can you hear it on your end?
Yes.
I can't hear it.
Really?
I know, that is strange.
I don't even know what to do. Hold on a second.
Let me see where it is, and and it's your bookmark. Send me the link, and I'll see if I can pull it up.
Okay.
See if it will work on my end. That's ridiculous, though. What the heck? Like, why is this not is this happening? That these loser men, these sixes. Go ahead.
And we said that all the men in this season were like not
Below
up to
par.
the standard. Yeah, we're not up to the standard of the women, and it's even worse than we thought.
Even worse than we thought. Where are you sending it?
I sent it in the private chat. Sorry.
Oh, in the private chat. Sorry, I was looking on Instagram. Okay, let's see if I can pull this up. Is it? Well, actually, I'll just be surprised. Okay, let's see if I can. Hopefully, I can hear it on my end. Oh, can you? I can just remove. Never mind. Don't worry.
Oh.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yes, I can see it.
So I want to quickly address the story that's going around about my previous.
Yes, I can hear it.
Love is Blind. One, anybody that I was on dates with, my castmates, and in multiple interviews, this topic was discussed. Nobody is surprised by this. It was something that was well documented. Unfortunately, with all of the footage that is captured, not all of it makes it into the final cut. This just happened to not make it in there. Two, I did not apply for this while I was living with anybody else. I was out living on my own, and I didn't seek this out. I was actually reached out to over Instagram, and I'll actually add that message into the next slide just for some verification on that. But I had already been out on my own for a number of weeks at that point, and I was asked if I would like to have a discussion around it. I said, sure, why not? And obviously it ended up leading up to the show at some point, but yeah.
That says guilty to me. It doesn't. I don't believe whatever he's saying here.
Weeks, though. He's saying weeks.
So I want to quickly.
Sorry.
Go ahead. He's saying that he was on his own for a number of weeks. Weeks.
I don't. So weeks could also equal months, right?
So it's like
2 weeks in a year.
Yes. You actually went through this process right after a rebound.
Absolutely. And which is, you can have a rebound and you don't know if you're going to get on the actual show. And so I'll give a little bit of grace that way. But the way that he's making it seem like we're the dummy because we don't see everything and it's well documented. Like, shut the fuck up. It's not well documented, because if it would have been, something would have come out about it. Yeah. Laura would not have chosen you if she knew that you were in a relationship with somebody outside of the house or the pods.
I'm sure he didn't tell her I just ended an engagement in a living situation. He probably made it seem like it was a lot longer ago. I'm sure of it.
So I'm reading all these comments. It's funny. Naima was saying but it's also kind of hilarious. There's so much drama. Clay needing to be the bad B in his relationship is barely on the radar. Seriously.
That's why I said to you, they're like, Kenny's the villain, the biggest villain. I'm like, he's not. Clay is the biggest villain. Clay, I'm like, listen, there's a lot of stuff that Clay needs to work on, but I still think that they overall could work if he put his effort in, right? Mm-hmm. If he actually went with it, but he still got the worst one. I'm sorry.
So someone here is saying Jeremy fighting for his life over Twitter, laughing faces. Mm-hmm. They dragging him while Sarah Ann over there making videos in his house. What do they mean by that? When they were talking, or is there more going on with him and Sarah Ann now? I wonder.
I don't know. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so this is true. Dania says if they got the footage, I'm sure they'll drop it at the reunion. Maybe. Yeah. All the men are punching. All of them. They're all sixes.
All the men.
Six.
All the men.
There's not a single one that I would want with all, like, not with their potential, with how they have presented themselves on the show. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, Love is Blind. Like, come on, Love is Blind is mean. You guys are mean. Why are you making me have to be with?
I think would probably be the one I would mostly. Kenneth would probably be the one physically I would be most attracted to, but no, none of these men. Even when he dropped the cast list, I was like, none of them are really.
Yeah. Dania says Laura played it perfect though. Just let him keep talking until he turns on himself. Yeah. So caught. He was caught. I don't like Laura, but she got him good. Yeah. Like she's probably like, thank goodness that he does something super shitty so that I can get out of this.
Yeah.
Because like, and then I don't know if they're going to break up necessarily. Oh, okay. Dania says Sarah posted TikToks and folks think she made them at Jeremy's house. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. So yeah, there was a pic of Sarah in his bedroom. Lot of mercy.
Lord of God.
Okay, the last couple that we're going to talk to before we get off here is just episode 9 with Chelsea and Jimmy. And because he left when they were having that little bit of an argument. She's like, leaving like that just wasn't cool. And he's just like, well, of course. And just again, just talking about how like he says, don't get mad if I have to go and get on a work call. Like he works at home and he says that he works from home and that he needs to be able to work. And if she's going to live there, he's going to need to be able to work. And she doesn't seem to remember that they had that conversation when she was moving into his space, that like he needs to work. But anyways, she says that he needs to work on his delivery, and she says that she needs to work on like her emotions and how she reacts to certain situations. Both are true. And then the initiating sex thing, she brings that back up. Why does she love the feeling of humiliation?
I don't know.
Like what?
It's like she's expecting it, but not expecting it. It might, like what you said before, it might be a kink.
Being like, oh, like I wonder, like if he's gonna be able to admit to me that he finds me repulsive. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, just stop it, please, Chelsea. Just stop.
Oh my God, okay.
So Rachel said earlier when he made that comment about her wanting to give a sex break, I got embarrassed for her. That was rough. And then she brings it up again, and he's like, and like I think she even brought it up with her friends, right?
She did.
What? And he's just like, no, I'm just saying that, you know, like I want you to initiate it. Like, please don't stop initiating it. Like
he tried to backtrack so far.
Have you seen the movie Misery?
Yes.
I feel like she gives me a little bit of Kathy Bates in Misery here. With the cockinate, what's the line? The cockinating, I don't know. She just lost the plot, in my opinion. She's
I'm telling you, something in her head was telling her, "Oh, this is coming off great." This,
like, why does she want to be embarrassed like that?
I don't.
Do you know who she's reminding me of? Actually, thinking about someone that likes being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think? That I'm thinking of? Not a Love is Blind person.
Right now.
But someone that just loves bringing up things that are embarrassing. And we just talked about this person for a long time.
We did. Oh my God. I don't remember.
Georgia Harrison.
Oh,
that girl loved talking about how people left her and dumped her and like
it's a sympathy kink. It's a sympathy kink that, like, I'm telling you, they said it brings people. Okay, it brings people like. Oh, not Rachel saying Deb.
Was Deb from Love Island, US?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
I don't remember what Louis says though.
It's so funny because I think she probably really in her head, same thing with Georgia, thought this was coming off so badass and oh, I'm getting sympathy from the audience, but you're not. You're not. You're getting
like this is the funniest thing ever because it's so true.
Yeah.
Chelsea is determined to make me fast forward her. I cringe when I watch her scenes. I've never felt so seen, Miss Love. Like I'm just like I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can watch it with my full attention because it's so cringe. I have secondhand embarrassment, like to the 9th degree. It's so cringe, and like I do. If I wasn't covering the season, I would be fast forwarding her scenes. Danita says, I wonder if every time Chelsea slightly cringes Jimmy out, he starts rethinking that being a stepdad isn't so bad. It's true.
I'll tell you.
It's true. She's like, I don't think that I would have to go.
I just got to deal with a kid. She got a banging body. She wants more kids. I'm convinced my mother this will work somehow.
The kid's like turning almost 11. Like she almost can take care of herself. Like that's fine. Like if we start having kids, that kid's gonna be almost out of the house. Like this is fine. Like he's probably rationalizing how this looks like a better situation.
Can still work.
This looks green.
Still work. This can still work.
The grass is so green right now on the other side.
Yeah. That. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Kay says I was ready to be on her side, but every episode so far I had to be on Jimmy's side. I know I have to.
It's so annoying. Why does this happen?
I feel sorry for Jimmy. Like I feel like
it's like, girl, I'm trying to be on your side. I am trying here. You're not making it.
So, says he's already looking for boarding school situation solved.
The boarding school, guys.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, let's like end on a laughing note. Do you have anything else to say about this drop of episodes?
Wow. How did we get here with some of these couples? I don't even know where we're going to land. I'm going to go. So do we want to make predictions? I'm predicting nobody gets married.
Oh. Yeah. Do you know what though? You said before that maybe season 7, everybody gets married or more people like have a successful ending. And this one is just very entertaining, but stay tuned because like you will get the happy ending soon. Because at this point, I don't see AD wanting to take the risk with Clay. And I don't see Clay saying yes because I don't think he's ready. And I don't think that he will push himself into being ready.
I can see them maybe continuing to date afterwards and then still fizzling out potentially because she wants more, but eventually she'll want more. But I can't see them actually going through a yes.
Correct. I do think that, oh my God, it's going to be a bunny boiler moment when Jimmy's like, so Chelsea, like, I'm just going to go on a date with Jess just to talk things through. Like, I think that that's going to happen. I think that he might give, well, we do see Chelsea in a wedding gown, I believe.
We see Chelsea trying on a wedding dress. I don't remember seeing her at the altar.
And that could be with Trevor. We don't know if like they decide to do, wife swap and he jumps over to Jessica. She's like, I always really loved you. Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing.
Because we know that even if at the end they do break up and she goes to Trevor and he goes to Jessica, we at least know that Trevor and Chelsea will not work out because he is supposed to be on Perfect Match next season.
Right. So he's probably saying no at the altar. Right. I still wonder who his friend was that just didn't that they agreed that they weren't going to say yes, but I don't think that he's going to say yes. But I do think she's going to go down the aisle for him, Trevor. This is his name, right?
Yeah.
Kay thinks that Love is Blind knows what they're doing. They picked all the psych fails and Max one couple that's semi-adjusted.
Yeah.
Anna here is saying, yeah, this show is very entertaining and informative. LOL. The dating game is nuts.
And the only reason why, and so Rachel is saying Amy and Johnny. The only reason why I'm saying
no, it's like this kid conversation and the money thing. She was appeasing him, but I don't think she agrees with the way that he wants to handle money. Sorry, go on.
And if they are the one love story in this entire season,
they haven't been showing it.
They have not shown us anything of them. Nothing.
Yeah, like I have so many pages of notes of everybody else.
Yeah,
and them I could fit into 3/4 of a page for 3 episodes.
Yeah. So if they do get married, I would not be shocked. I just have little hope for it based on the fact that usually the one love story we do get. And we're not getting anything here.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if her father's going to be down with it. In the preview, it seems like he is pretty like, eh. So I feel like she could be convinced that, maybe he's not your type. He doesn't want to have, his relationship to be the same way that you want it. He doesn't have the way that he wants to deal with money is differently than you do. These are kind of heavy stuff that like it might be hard to get over. So
yeah,
I don't know. Rachel says Jimmy and Chelsea will be a repeat of Nick and Danielle.
Oh my God, yes. But hopefully they do not actually get married.
Oh, one thing that we didn't talk about was when Jimmy's friends. Oh, that's when Chelsea was saying about the sex thing. Like it was like she was trying to embarrass him. Yeah. And then like someone mentioned she did that strange run when she met up with her friends. And I was like, she needs to work on that run because it's so ick giving that like she needs like, I know running in heels is challenging, but like
don't run in the heels.
Don't run in heels. Walk. You take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. Strut.
Nobody's asking for it.
So you don't need to run up to anybody. Just strut.
Literally, I've been in heels. I don't run. I don't give a damn who's there. I don't care. Even if I'm so excited to see you, I am not running to you in heels because I know I'm not good at it.
I said like I'll run in heels because I can run in heels. I used to dance in a group called the Stilettoettes where we would dance and perform in stilettos. And so I could run a marathon in heels, but certain heels, and I definitely don't look like that. I definitely do not look like that. Oh, so I guess so she does bring up all the Megan Fox stuff and all this stuff with his friend's visit. And I thought that was interesting though, is the fact that his girlfriends are all, so Maddie and Barbara were his friends. They brought some bubbly and some flowers, and they do ask like, how do you feel about him having female friends? Yes. I feel as though, because they were really good looking women, I feel as though they were being warm and embracing, but I don't think that she was his natural type. And so they were kind of watching, it seems to be like, okay, like, how do you feel about him having friends that are girls? I don't know how well she answered that.
Questions. I mean, they did kind of sucker back and be like, well, he's just a brother to us.
Right? I can't read this out loud, but that's...
No! Casey! No! No! Proof.
I can't read it. I can't read it.
Jail with you, KB. Go jail with you. Go jail. No. We are not going to do that. So I do feel like they went back and circled around. I can't. Listen, I said this entire season is full of villains. Nobody is a good person here. I don't really mean that, but on the other hand, I feel like it's making a villain of me because I've been laughing at all the snide, nasty comments that they've been making at each other in the show. They're laughing at me. We can't do this. All right. So yeah, they tried to like circle back and try to fix it and be like, he's just a brother to us. But I don't think her answers were working for them either.
No, I don't think. I think, and then when she tries to embarrass him by saying like he cried during sex or whatever, I'm just like, man, she really wants to embarrass that man.
Humble him.
She's already embarrassed being there with you. He is, anyways. And so, yeah, I don't think that his friends really get what's happening here. I think what's interesting is that he does have very attractive female friends, and so him having a higher bar, or like it makes a little more sense. You know what I mean? Like, because it seems as though the people that he hang out with are those women were 8s and 9s. You know what I mean? Like they were like, very.
Apparently, his ex-girlfriends were also all very
like
hot.
Yeah, look like Kardashians.
It never felt like a competition, I'm sure, but also those relationships didn't work out for some reason. So.
I agree. Anna is mad that Chelsea asked the question and didn't even let Jimmy answer as to which famous person he looks like. Shaking my head. Well, because he only asked that question so she can say that she looks like
she looks like. Right. It's never about him. It always comes right back around to her.
Kay says this season's petty meter is peak with this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You listen. I try to live in positivity, but I love a good petty.
These are funny. They're funny.
Exactly.
What? So, there's another spoiler about Jimmy and one of his friends. I assume that at least one of them had slept with her. Him.
Okay.
What?
So I can't. I don't have it. I've been looking. I've been searching for Jimmy spoiler. And I couldn't find it because I was like, there's gotta be one.
Yeah, where is it? Shay, for Shay.
Oh God.
Jimmy, let's see if I can find it. Love Island. I mean, sorry, Love is Blind. Reddit. Love is Blind season 6, maybe. Spoiler? I don't know.
Rumor.
Oh, rumors. Maybe rumors. How do you guys spell rumors? There's no U in yours, right?
Yeah, there's no U.
Oh, okay. Has anyone seen? Sorry, hold on one sec. It's making me okay. I can't see the whole thing, but Jimmy shares with Chelsea off camera that he slept with one of his close female friends. He asked her not to bring it up out of respect for them, I guess. I can't pull up the whole thing, but
okay. Yeah, that wouldn't have went over well. And I can definitely see
that. There's a point that says like you effed her. I don't know if that's talking about. I think it has to be so that was in the trailer. So I'm wondering if he's not talking about Jess, but he's talking about one of his girlfriends, maybe.
Yes, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah, you effed her.
Because I'm like, why would she be trying on a wedding dress if he slept with Jessica for real? But wow.
Yeah, it might be his friend. So we're going to sign off today, but send it or put it in the comments below. We'll talk about it. I'm sure more is going to come out between now and next Wednesday. So let's just compile all the tea into the comments box below. Hold on. The vibe was a bit weird with the heavier one when they met up. That might explain the weird look that she gave one of the friends. I don't think she knew about it then.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about it, I feel it would have been an after conversation being like, oh, like why are you guys such good friends? Like, have you slept with any of them? You know what I mean? I feel like it would have been something that talked about after she met them because they were attractive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because her insecurities are gonna
flare. So she's not gonna let it go. You had to have slept with her. Tell me the truth. You slept with one of them.
I don't know. You guys seem like to have they get to know you so well. Yeah. Like, how do they know you? You know?
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, fine. Like, we slept together, but it was a long time ago, and we've been friends ever since, and it never happened again. You fucked her. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, honestly, we went longer than I was anticipating, but I had a blast talking about this drop of episode. I know we were worried about how it was going to go down, but now that we're into these relationships, this is a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I keep covering this show. I never thought I would. It is longer. We've got to figure out a way to cut it down, but I don't know.
Well, it's 3 episodes. That's why it kind of sucks.
Anybody else feel like the episodes are longer than when they used to show the show? Because I feel like this season the episodes are super long. turn on.
Or a running turn off.
Crazy. But yes, so I guess the next set of episodes we will meet on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
And,
or if you want to break it up, it depends on how many they're going to drop. Are they dropping 3 or what do you think?
I don't know. So, actually, you know what? You can see.
I could look at my TV too.
Yeah, look and see if it says what the next drop will be, because usually they'll say.
Because I'm sure it'll be less. Put on. Because I think if it's like 4, then we can do 2. If it's 2, we can do 1, which would be great because then it'll just be 2 short ones.
Yes.
And so we do it that way. And so we just 2 short ones I think would be easier than to do 1 long one this week on one of ours and then 1 long one the week after.
Right. So let's see. It says, okay, so 2 and 2.
So do you want to do 1 and 1 next week, or do you want to do 2 and then 2 the
next week? Yes, do 1 and 1.
And then 1 and 1.
Okay. And then 1 and 1. I think that works. Yeah. Awesome, guys.
Hey, what else do you have going on your channel?
So I will be catching up on Traders US on Sunday with Miss T-Joy. So join us live Sunday. I haven't figured out what time exactly, but we will definitely be going live and catching up on all the episodes. I think we're about 3 episodes behind on Traders. And so we'll catch up, and then moving forward, we should be once a week for the last 3 weeks of the show. And then I'm trying to figure out what to cover. Summer Summer House Martha's Vineyard is back next month. March 24th. The Avatar series, The Last Airbender, came out, and I wanted to cover it, but then I thought about not covering it. But now I'm watched a couple of episodes last night with my son, and I'm like, maybe I should cover it because I actually very much so far enjoy it. And I think that's it. I think also Traders UK will be dropping in the US on Peacock. So I'm going to cover more, guys. It's coming. So follow me on my channel. Yeah,
that's really good, though, that because we already did some coverage for like the Love Island stuff. That's what you just said, right? And so, like, if people are wanting to catch up on the episode, we already have those recaps done. So you still will have recaps that you can follow along with, which is awesome, right? Yes. It was Love is, what did you say? Yeah, you said All Stars, right?
All Stars, I think you guys should be done now, right? With US. I was saying Traders UK.
Oh, Traders UK. I didn't do any recaps for that. Sorry, I was thinking of Love Island.
Yeah, Traders UK. When it was live in the UK, I said I actually would just cover it when it gets to US because I think it.
Okay, yes, so definitely cover it, 100%.
Yeah.
Which streaming services Love Island come on? It's on Peacock
now. Yeah. Yes,
it might be on Hulu as well. I'm not sure though. I don't
know. So the older episodes, before 4 or 5, should be on. Some on Netflix, all on Hulu, and everything past for USA should be in Peacock. And then same thing with UK. I think all of the seasons except for All Stars should be on Hulu. So. Yeah.
Got it. Anna says, yeah, Chelsea has been most annoying cast member to date. Way worse than Danielle, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, Chelsea. Okay, well, this has been a really, really fun time. Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for being so active and hilarious in the chat. You really, really made my night. My neighbors are going to be like, what's so damn funny up there? So thank you so much for like hanging out with us here on Friday night. And make sure you subscribe to both of our channels, like this video, and put any tea that you find in the comments, because we will talk about all the tea when we get back together twice next week. So we'll do one episode, the first episode on Tamika's channel, and then the second episode on my channel next week. So please send us all the tea, because this is what makes it fun. It's detective work and just getting so much tea and gossip about these people. So let's keep the fun going. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you.